All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
We're the Hebrew Israelites. We back in, another week out here on the streets to prophesy, the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Before we get started, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to
Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Kavadash.
Double honors to our elders and apostles at Great Millstone. Peace, safety, much love, and blessing to the occupants across the four corners of the earth that are pushing out this truth and sincerity and putting their life on the line to do so. I want to say shalom to you, brothers. And we're just going to get straight into the scripture. Go ahead, bro.
This is 2nd Esdras chapter 9 and verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself.
And how do you measure the time diligently? You watch, all right? And you look for the signs that the Lord said will befall in the last days, all right? Keep going.
And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before.
So once we see these signs that the Lord has told us is going to that are going to happen before the second coming, keep going.
Then shalt thou understand that it's the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
Hey, and everything that's going on in the world around us, man, gives us an inkling that the Lord is on his way back. All right, and in knowing that, our job as prophets or the mouthpiece of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is to come out and warn the people. All right, that's a sign of love. That's a sign of charity. All right, keep going on.
Therefore, when thou shalt be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning.
Yep. Mark 13, 7.
This is Mark 13, verse 7. And when ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, be ye not troubled, for such things must needs be, but the end shall not be yet.
Yeah, the end shall not be yet. There's little things going on, wildfires and, this coronavirus going around. Hey, but this is just the opening credits, man, to a horror movie. So if you get shooken up about, the credits on the screen now before you get to the
the trailer fucking them up.
Yeah, you crying over the trailer and you ain't even reached the climax of the movie yet. Then, hey, you in for a rude awakening, goddamn. You know what I'm saying? Keep going now.
Verse 8. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles.
Hey, and if anybody got a news app on their phone and you keeping up with the current events, all of these things are taking place, man, simultaneously, man. And it's not by coincidence, man. The Lord is getting the ball rolling on this place, man. And why is he doing that? Because the Lord is fed up, man. And it's time for him to come back and visit, man, with wrath, contrary to what people believe, man. Keep going.
The elect almost sealed.
Yep, the elect is almost sealed, man. The four angels that are holding back those winds are ready to let it loose, man. Once that mark, the wand is placed upon the elect's head, man, hey, all hell's gonna break loose.
Yep.
Keep going on.
These are the beginnings of sorrows.
Hey, like I said, this is the beginning of sorrows. If you getting tripped up and you shaking in your boots over wildfires and a so-called pandemic that has a 1% death rate out of the whole out of the whole grand scheme of things, then you really walking in blindness and you in for a rude awakening, man.
So you ain't seen nothing
yet. You ain't seen shit yet, man. If you could imagine the worst thing that you could possibly see, or the worst thing that could possibly happen, it's gonna be 10 times worse than that, man. What the Lord has. Give me Isaiah 66, 15. Some more on that.
Come. This is Mark 13, verse 9. But take heed to yourselves, for they shall deliver you up to councils, and in the synagogues ye shall be beaten, and you shall be brought before rulers and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them.
You can drop that. It's all good. Hey, because hey, man, the times that we're living in, like I was saying, earlier, we're the watchmen, we're the mouthpiece. So we come in week in, week out to tell these people of the things that are coming. All right, because they don't have the brain power to look at the signs, man. Everything is smoke and mirror to these people. They take everything for face value. All All right. Donald Trump say don't wear a mask. They don't wear a mask. The CDC says wear a mask. It's total confusion,
Right.
man. So these people are just being tossed to and fro, and they have no idea. That's why the Lord has set up men on the earth to lead you and guide you down the correct path and tell you what's going on, man. Because if you leave it up to the so-called white man, hey, you shit out of luck, man.
Yep.
Keep going out. It's like 16, 15. Yep.
This is Isaiah chapter 66 and 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire.
Hey, and that's what the Lord is coming back to do, man. He's not coming back to save everybody. All right. He's not coming back to help you advance yourself in this society, man. He's coming to destroy this society, man. You know, he's not coming to hold hands and join everybody together, you know. And your misconception of John 3:16, that is not what the Lord is coming back with, man. All right. These people think they can just keep going against the Most High and His Son, and He's gonna come back with a reward for going against them. What? Hey, what in on the face of the earth, or what do you know rewards you for bad behavior? Nothing. All right. I can't think of one thing that you'll be rewarded for being off, man. You know.
Like you in school and you got all D's and F's,
Yeah. But you get promoted.
and you get a star like the kids, or the kids that got A's and B's don't get the stars,
Right.
but the kids that fail got all the stars.
Right. It don't make sense, man. You know. And these people are totally brainwashed into thinking that. You know. Hey, you reap what you sow, man. You know. You don't put an orange seed in the ground and a fucking banana will grow. You know what I'm saying? Keep going up.
Verse 16. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slaying of the Lord shall be many.
Hey, and the slaying of the Lord shall be many, man. Hey, this go round, hey, the whole nation of Israel is not going to be saved, man. You know, they're going to inherit the kingdom, but they're going to have to be born in the kingdom, man. You know, the Lord is not taking all of Israel like He did during the time of the Exodus out of Egypt, man.
No.
You know, he's dealing with the 144 elect and the 1/3, man. And two-thirds of our people shall be cut off and die, according to the scriptures. Go back in that second image. That was a little bit more than that. Verse 17. Yeah.
They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree, in the midst, eat the swine's flesh, and the abominations and the mouse shall be consumed together, said the Lord.
Mm-hmm. Hey, same judgment, man. Go back to that second image. Okay. Because, hey, man, you know, and it may sound like a broken record, you know, that we come in every week and, you know, hey, but we're going to do this until the Lord, hey, makes a shift in the ministry, man. We know that it spoke about famines and all of that, you know, in Mark. It's going to be a famine of the word, too. But until then, hey, we're going to be out here, man. Lord
That's
willing.
even more of a reason why these people don't deserve any mercy,
Mm-hmm.
because, like you said, the Spirit, the same message has been hitting the same tune for decades. So there's no excuse.
That's correct. That's right. You know, you can't say you didn't know, man, or you haven't heard. Your favorite celebrity know he's an Israelite, you know. So what's your excuse? You got these guys in the headlines about, you know, calling the so-called Jews fake Jews. You know, they're proclaiming that they're Israelites. Hey, what's your problem, man? You know. Go ahead. Al.
This is 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 5. For like as all that is made in the world had a beginning and an end,
Mm-hmm.
and the end is manifest.
Yep. And Ecclesiastes tell you there's a time for everything, man. All right, and the time that we're going into is death and destruction, man.
That's right.
It's time. Hey, matter of fact, get that. Ecclesiastes chapter 3. All right. Because, hey, the Lord is not finna keep sitting back and watch His name be abused, man, and let the so-called white man continue to blaspheme His name by changing the images, man. You know, when you lay down or when you get on your knees and pray, you regular jakes out here that don't know, you know, they ask from a hole in the ground, you envision a so-called white man. That's the ultimate blasphemy, man, of the Lord. All right, and you don't think the so-called white man got to pay for that, and you that are joined unto this so-called white man and his system. Hey, you sadly mistaken, man.
Can I get something real quick?
Go ahead, man.
This is Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 3. It says, now is the end come upon thee, and I will send my anger upon thee, and I will judge thee according to thy ways, and I will recompense upon thee all thy abominations.
Yeah, the Lord is going to judge you according to your ways. Hey, you've been wicked and you ain't been trying to get right. Hey, you're going to meet death. All right. But if you doing everything you can do, you know, to the best of your ability, according to the scriptures, you're going to be rewarded with salvation, man. The Lord always rewards for, hey, and that's how we got in the situation we're in now. You know, Deuteronomy the 28th chapter. It tells you everything that would befall us if we broke the law, statutes, and commandments. And it told us everything that we would gain if we kept them. Okay? So the Lord gives you options, man. All right? But we know, hey, 2/3 are just slated for death. And those that are blinded for a reason. All right? They just stumble for the fire, man, at the end of the day. And it is what it is. It may seem like a harsh message. Hey, but these are not our words, man. These are coming out the scriptures that you people claim to believe in. That you have 2 or 3 maybe sitting around the house, man.
Yep.
That you don't crack open and really get into the nitty gritty. Because if these regular people really knew the things that are in the Bible, the dark sayings and the killing, hey, they would probably denounce Christianity, or they would denounce the Bible if they really knew what was in it, you know. But they're spoon-fed what the pastors want them to know or don't want them to know, because they don't know shit, really. It's just song and dance and a feel-good moment. He passed the collection plate around and go watch the Falcons play, man. Yeah, that's all it is. You have some more?
I got 2 more verses.
Go ahead, Bob.
Verse 4, and my eye shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity.
Yeah, the Lord ain't gonna spare you, he gonna have pity. Because like the brother said, this word has been going out continuously, non-stop, you know, and you had a chance, man. Yeah. All right. The Lord is not gonna pity you because you just chose to take the word and put it in the napkin. Okay? You didn't want to use the tools that were given unto you by knowing that you were Israelite, man. Knowing is just half the cause. What are you going to do? Are you going to do what's commanded of you by the Lord once you do find out you're an Israelite? Are you going to try to tell the next man, hey, that he's a prince of the power as well? Or are you going to cover it? All right?
And well, you know, the scriptures say what is that, Psalms, the 14th chapter, that a fool says in his heart that there is no God. Mm-hmm. And then the scriptures say that the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. So the Lord has really been kind of keeping it quiet, like how you're saying, throughout these centuries, to a certain extent, to what? Rock these people to sleep, because they don't fear the Lord. See, when you read the accounts of Egypt and those accounts, the world had a great fear for the works of Yahweh through Yahweh Shai. The Lord has been keeping it quiet because he's going to hit them with that thief in the night. Because these people, like you said, they think because there's pedophilia and all this matters of evil go about, that, oh, there's no God. Little do they know, he's about to come with the greatest ass whooping ever.
Right. Because the scripture tell you, hey, just because judgment against an evil work is not executed speedily, you know, they continue in their hearts to do wickedness. And that's what you see. And it became a snowball effect, and it's getting bigger and bigger till it's finna burst. And once that bubble bursts, hey, that's gonna be it for you people, man. You know, all this iniquity and wickedness that you've sown throughout all these years. And the Lord is coming back to cash in on your ass, man. You know?
Cash in on your check.
Yeah, you finna keep running the table with wickedness and think that the Lord is not gonna command you or reward you for your doings, man.
Right.
It don't work like that. Yeah, got one more verse. Go ahead.
But I will recompense thy ways upon thee,
There you go.
and thy abomination shall be in the midst of thee and ye shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh.
Yeah, he said he's gonna recompense. He gonna pay you back. You know, read back and compense or to compensate. You know, he's gonna pay you back for the works that you've been doing, man. All right.
And if I can say something, you gotta think about it from, I guess, playing like devil's advocate or whatever perspective. You know, as a nigga, you gotta think all the shit that you doing, robbing, hustling, scheming, and you might get away. Some of these J's get away with it 15 plus years, 20 years, maybe their whole life. You know, narcotic rings, they might be at the head of it, and they got little foot soldiers selling all these drugs, and they just generate the revenue. A lot of them might get bammed up or whatnot. But if they could really examine all the shit that they're doing as what, how should they be judged? They gonna say, man, I should be put to death, man.
Exactly.
You gotta think about, all right, I'm robbing all my fucking life. I'm doing all this wickedness. What should be the judgment for this? Death. They know this.
But most of them know that, because if you talk to like a lot of these street cats or niggas that live that life, they'll tell you that when they get caught for something, they understand that, well, I didn't get caught for a lot of this shit, so it's only fair that I ain't gonna trip over this because I should have got caught for this and got caught for that. Because that's righteous judgment. That's justice. You know that what you're doing is terrible, so you deserve bad. How do you put the scriptures say you know a tree by its fruits? A good tree cannot produce evil evil fruit, and vice versa. You know.
Hey, because even if they don't go down for the actual crime that they committed, if they falsely accused, they know they done got away with some bullshit before.
See, through the spirit, Esau could be righteous for the next 100 years. It don't matter, because as much bullshit and evil that you reaped in the world, bro, you could Esau could just stop wickedness right now, cold turkey, and be free of sin and all that. But because of how much evil he's reaped, you can't just wipe away 10 years. Like this wall right here, you can't put bleach to this wall anymore and say that that's gonna remove the filth. A lot of this stuff you gotta really spray it down with some type of sand, and you gotta really get into it. The same thing with Esau's filth. You can't just, all right, we clean. It don't work like that.
Because his wickedness would outweigh the righteousness, you know, and it won't. You ain't gonna break even, Esau. It's too much shit that you done. Your rap sheet is too long. If you go straight now, you still done thousands of years of thousands of bullshit.
Yeah,
right?
That's really wicked, because you're trying to cover up.
Exactly.
Keep your wickedness going.
Wicked, you know.
I got something.
Go ahead, Al.
This is Galatians 6 and 7. We encourage you. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap.
That's right. Hey, and that's a basic concept, man. Like I said earlier, you plant a certain fruit, a seed of a certain fruit. You think you're gonna get the total opposite? No, you're gonna get whatever you put in the ground is gonna produce, man. You know, and that's how. You know, majority of the people don't look at it like that.
No.
They look at it as if they getting away with it, then they good. They're not gonna have to answer to any of that they they sold. But hey, man, the scriptures tell you different. Okay. Go ahead.
This is Colossians 3, verse 25. But he that doeth wrong shall receive for the wrong which he had done, and there is no respect of persons. Yeah, you know, and when you look at what Esau Edom has done while he was in rulership, he did a whole lot of wrong to our people, and not just our people, to all the nations. Okay, he's not going to get away with his wickedness no matter how much good they try to do. All right, the scripture going into it about, you can't make straight what is crooked. Roughly paraphrasing, man.
That's right.
Exactly.
I got a precept for you if you don't mind.
Oh, go ahead, Al.
This is Matthew 12 and Matthew 12 and 33, and it says, "Neither make the." Well, I'm gonna start at 32. Matthew 12 and 32, and it says, "And whosoever speaketh a word against the Son of Man, it shall be forgiven. But whosoever speaketh against the Holy Spirit, it shall not be forgiven him, neither in this world, neither in the world to come. Neither make the tree good or his fruit good, or make the tree corrupt and his fruit corrupt. For the tree is known by his fruit." Like Matthew 12, yeah. And like how the brother was saying, like, it's impossible for the seed of Esau. He's the seed of Satan. He was created to be bad. How could anything good come from him? That's why even if we gave him a chance, if the Lord said, I'm gonna give you 50 years to get it straight, he couldn't, because it's written in him he's a shark with blood. Like that's like you training a shark not to go after flesh when it smells blood.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah, they can't. And you gotta think, which I'm gonna throw it back to the brother.
Yeah, come.
For Esau to get everything back right, he would have to actually reverse the hands of time, man. Which he's not willing to do. You know, you think of reparations as a big thing, which is grants of 40 acres and a mule,
Yeah.
which would be a large portion of the American system. You gotta think the agricultural portions of America is somewhat like the Midwest region and things of that nature. For them to even give that away, they're gonna lose a lot of resources, especially in these times.
Yeah.
So not only doing that, you have to grant the properties back to the Native Americans that you stole it from, man. That means that that's billions, trillions of dollars of revenue that's coming out of your pockets. So these different Edomite that's extremely rich, their assets would be and basically compromised, man. They would lose their net worth. Everything they generate, passive income. You talk about, you see you passive income. They get passive income.
Yeah.
But it's off of the backs of what the scripture says in Revelation 18, the souls of slaves. You think the white man is gonna submit all that rundown of the cinnamon, the frankincense, and the souls of men,
Silk.
the slaves, the scarlet, the odor, to get back right in the eyes of the Most High? Hell nah, man.
Repentance is a hard thing.
Repentance is a very hard thing.
And even if you wanted to, it's too late.
It's too late.
Because he spilled blood. And the only way for you to
Be clean of that.
redeem and be clean from spilling blood is your blood got to be shed. So there's nothing that he can do.
There's nothing you can do.
But me for sure, and the rap for y'all about Shimei shot.
You can pick
Go
it
ahead.
up too.
Oh, yeah, go. Perfect.
41.
This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 11, verse 41. For the earth has thou not judged with truth.
Yeah, the Esau has not judged the earth with truth, man. He's judged it with lies, deceit, and robbery, man. Like the brother Barzal was saying. What he done to the native, bro, if you're a Native American right now and you don't hate the so-called white man, then you through, man. For all that he's giving you the worst part of your land. He's giving you the worst education. According to his,
not too long ago.
Not too long ago. This is fresh. Probably your great-great-grandparents felt the wrath of the Trail of Tears.
Every Native American is supposed to be a racist, man.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
I ran across a video on YouTube.
Openly practicing.
Native Americans, they had one word for Christopher Columbus. And every Native American should feel like those individuals on that video, man. They was saying fuck her.
Fuck him, this dude.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
I said fuck him.
They was pissed with him.
Yeah, they was pissed.
But that's just one man.
And that's just one person. Hey, you should be mad at the whole race of the so-called white man, man. For what he's done to your people, man. He got you on reservations. You're alcoholics. You're
getting hit the hardest with the coronavirus.
Getting hit the hardest with the coronavirus.
What was that? That pipeline
health issue.
A
couple of years. About 2 years ago?
Yep, their pipelines and everything that they have as a people is just being took from them. And what they always speak about, what the Native Americans got, lottery. They got a lot of casinos and things like that. That ain't shit, man.
That ain't there. That's Esau.
And that's a hustle to hustle the world.
Right.
It's just a hustle. A nigga hustle, man.
Yeah. Oh, the white man running the big ass.
It's a gambling spot.
A gambling spot.
He running a big ass Ponzi scheme, And he'll lock an ordinary Jake up for some shit like that. But his whole system is based off the same
corruption.
The same corruption. The same pattern.
Yep, same principles.
Keep going, and then I'll let you put something.
Verse 42. For thou hast afflicted the meek, thou hast hurt the peaceable,
Yep.
thou hast loved liars,
Yep.
and
Damn.
destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit.
Keep
Thou
going.
hast cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm. Verse 43. Therefore is thy wrongful dealings come upon the highest, and thy pride unto the mighty.
Yeah. So, hey, this guy Esau has hurt the meek, the humble and meek, because our people are very generous, so to speak. So when they came over here on the Mayflower, they were accepted. They looked strange, but our people still took them in and showed them different things and how to hunt and survive on the land. And what Esau do, man? he totally obliterated them, man. You know, broke them down to a whole, signed different treaties, and gave different promises. You know, and then growing up, what they call it, Indian giver. They weren't no damn Indian givers. The white man stole that shit, and they was just trying to get back what was rightfully theirs.
And you can see the Gadites that they first encountered was I mean, not all of them was the same, but it was like damn hippie Gadites, man. You know, peaceable.
Yeah.
You know, some of those Gadites, you land in their territory, they ready to chop their head off the snake, man.
Exactly.
You know, just like lions. You know, you go in the lion territory, that shit can tear your ass apart.
He's gonna watch you, see how you move it.
They was all about, you know, inquiring, helping to recuperate, and a lot of those Gadites had that philosophy. But all them Gadites wasn't the same. This is the America what we was talking about.
Because at the beginning, people think that in Gadite history that it was just, I just throwing a number, like it was only like 10,000 natives in America.
Yeah, some crazy shit.
Like their mind is that this was such a primitive time that they don't realize that there was, you know, city states and capitals and
whole societies.
whole societies is what I'm basically
Metropolises.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Because Esau depicted them as just being wild
savages,
wild
Indians, savages.
Exactly. And that's what we grew up thinking, man.
Yeah.
And then when you get the truth and learn that those are our people, it explains why what happened to them happened to them. They under the curses of Deuteronomy 28th chapter, man. Just like our so-called black ass, man. But Esau, hey man, like we were
This
saying
shit more
earlier,
personal, man.
that's personal what they did.
Yeah, Gad, like you said one time. You said, man, bro, you don't even see Native American terrorists.
Right.
No, hell no.
Like they should be. I mean, not to put that energy out there, but if a group of people had enough of a read, like think about it, the energy that they push this with terrorists is that there's towelheads over there in the Middle East so mad at America that they go out of their way to come over here to bring destruction to America
from a whole other side of the
from
earth.
a whole other side of the world. That's how much hate they have for the white man. That's the story. You telling me that people that live on the land that was taken from them don't have enough anger to take it to the people down the road? Hit 20, hit 66, 85. It's one of these highways gonna take you somewhere.
Nah, Native Americans is finished, man. And respectfully, you're just finished. You're just finished people. When you think about it, you know, if you really talk to these natives, and if we actually went to the different reservations and gave interviews, what's the way to actually get back right and recuperate? They're gonna be talking some white man shit, man.
Yeah.
We
Education.
We gotta educate us. Yeah. Christopher Columbus was he had half a brain coming here to America. Ain't about no goddamn education. It's about the sword, man.
Exactly.
And that's why the scriptures speak about raising up the tribes of Gad and really raising up that spiritual vigor.
Yeah.
Because they lost it. It's education, politics. We got to get into the political.
Like,
we got to get resources.
Right. Like no, it should be.
No.
It's a righteous thing to recompense tribulation to those that trouble you. That's the verse you should bring out, and you should want blood on the so-called white man.
Well, these camps should be all Gadites.
All Gad.
Should be all Gad.
Gad should be
Bro, the whole Israelite movement should just really be Judah and Gad. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Every tribe has a reason to be in it. We all do. But I'm just saying, like,
That should be traveling to see.
bro, Gad, y'all so-called Native Americans should be. They ain't got shit else to fall into. What good has been in the Native American been to you?
They worse than the Mexicans, but I got a preset. Issachar, man. I had to say Mexican. I don't want to say Issachar because, you know, in the respect, you a brother. When you come to the truth, you're Issachar, right?
Yeah.
But them Mexicans, man.
Like
yo,
niggas,
they sleep.
Niggas.
Those fucking Mexicans. That's the equivalent of calling a nigga. This is Job 24:1. Why seeing times are not hidden from the Almighty? Do they know him not, see his days? Some remove the landmarks.
Yep.
They violently take away flocks and feed thereof.
They say they removed the landmarks. This soil that we're standing on right now, this was the land that marked the Native American, so-called Native American territory, right? But Esau came and he removed that through false treaties, right? And it says they violently take away flocks. History talks about all the buffalo they killed.
Oh, man.
That they did on purpose. They even just kill them for food. They just slaughtered them just so the natives here, the tribe of Gad, couldn't survive long enough or have enough resources for them to gather up to come back against them.
Mm-hmm.
That's evil. That's wicked. You know?
Yeah, and the precept they had for Deuteronomy was that Deuteronomy 19 and 14, thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark,
This is a law, yeah.
which they of old time have set in thine inheritance, which thou shalt inherit in the land that the Lord thy power giveth thee to possess it. But going back, they violently take away flocks and feed thereof, just like you were speaking about the oxen that they would kill.
Basically, damaging the food supply.
Buffalo, the deer.
You know, they that's the pestilence outbreak. You know, they even you know, use smallpox for the individuals. They probably sicken their
food supply. They drive away the ass of the fatherless, which the ass is the donkey. They take away the widow's ox for a pledge.
Because what would happen, even you got the camera. Gad would even in all cultures, sometimes the men would go to war, and then the men would die, and sometimes these villages would be left with a lot of women. That's where this energy with women trying to post themselves up to being warriors and fighters. That's still they use it as a point to brag about, but women warriors meant that all the men died.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the second.
That was the second.
That was just you just fighting for the sake of just holding on to our people.
Right.
So like how you said, even Esau would come into these villages with single women, whoever,
Yeah.
and oppress them, take their thing, throw them into slavery. He's mercifulness.
Yeah, well, that's how, you know, a lot of those different women, you know, brought forth cursed children, man.
Yeah.
You know, scripture speak about cursed is the you know, the curse of the mother uproot of the children.
Yep.
Because when, you know, certain women would get in you know, certain authorities and things, and sometimes they would be with their man, but they would still learn upon the Esau. And, you know, that Willie Lynch shit, it happened for the Gadites too.
Yeah.
Serve your master and thing. But I'm gonna keep going. They drive away the ass of the fatherless. They take the widow's ox for a pledge. They turn the needy out of the way. The poor of the earth hide themselves together.
In the ghettos, the projects, and the
barrios,
the forgotten sides of town. He pushes the poor and needy into these clusters of areas to be forgotten. Matter of fact, if you take this road right here, right? What is this? You take this road right here and you follow it, it'll take you to what? Techwood. It'll take you directly, like this road right here. It'll take you, if you follow it all the way through, it'll take you back towards Techwood. Right. And the point of what I'm saying is that was an area where Atlanta, where Arthur Blank and these would push what? The needy, the forgotten to these hoods.
Yeah.
That's the same concept. That's how he does.
I think that was the first project built.
Yeah, that was one of the first projects in Atlanta.
But a project is something that you experiment.
East Lake Meadows.
East Lake.
That was the first projects here throughout the whole United States. Was here in Atlanta, Georgia, man.
And they call it what? The trap. The trap is something that you ensnare. Yeah. You know, and it's also a project because they would start at what? Trying drugs on you, trying diseases, STDs on you. They started injecting. That's why you had the Puerto Rican cancer experiment. You got the Tuskegee experiment. They started putting a lot of stuff in those different hoods.
That was the rumor with Bowen Homes. Wasn't it rumored that Bowen Homes was like infested with AIDS? You know, so like you said, a lot of these neighborhoods, they throw stuff into it. They throw guns. They throw guns, disease. All the problems that plague our people, it has a center point. And that's them areas. I mean, contrast. Because you got to, whenever you let a disease out or whatever, like Esau with these movies, with diseases, Esau has a ground zero, patient zero. Everything got to have a starting point. You don't start an infection all over the place. You got to start in a, you know,
like the so-called corona.
Wuhan at the shopping center.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Right. You know? That's totally correct. You done with your precept.
A little bit more. It says, behold, as wild asses in the desert go they forth to their work, rising betimes for a prey. Oh, that's plain as day. The wilderness yielded food for them,
and for their children. And really, that shows Jake being in a drought-like state and totally dilapidated. Speaks about wild asses going in the desert for work and therefore prey. So you working under a man, so you basically being used and preyed on. Because you're not really getting what you're supposed to be handed, your daily wage.
You're not going to the land of milk and honey. You're going to a desert.
Yep. So something that's dry. Rising beatons for a prey, the wilderness yielded food for them and for their children.
That's like getting up early as fuck for work. A lot of times that's when you get caught up in the system, going to and from the work. Rarely do you get caught up in the law in your private or your personal space. That's when you get caught up, is when I'm rushing to work, so you speed.
Yep.
You know, so now you pray because you out in the wilderness. Out in the wild, you get what I'm saying? Like,
you out in the wild. Because what? When you go to these different factories and things, that's really like a wilderness.
Yeah.
It doesn't reap anything from the earth, but it has just a mass amount of produce that's being shipped through these different, because what you have the truckers, it's always the big firms, you got the truckers.
distribution
centers. And you basically in the goddamn concrete jungle, but you got abundance of this product, flour or wheat, and you're making baked goods or whatever you're making. Clothes, textiles and all this shit, But
the scriptures ain't real.
And it says the wilderness yielded food for them and for their children, because you make the money, and from that you actually have to take and distribute unto your households. They reap everyone his corn in the field, and they gather the vintage of the wicked.
Yeah, give it all to the
devil, white man.
Give it all to Esau. He can take your taxes out the check before you even see how much you really gross.
Because we're not giving it to the righteous. The scripture says what? Render unto Caesar which is Caesar. We pay our taxes, but we don't pay it. If we so-called Africans, and Esau basically, agrees to that notion. Why don't we pay taxes to our African, so-called countrymen? If Africa is in such a bad situation, because you're his slave.
Yeah,
we're property of. That's why we have a Social Security, a birth certificate. All these different things are stamped. And
stickman.
Yep, stickman or strawman. To put us further step into this system. But it says they cause the naked to lodge without clothing.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, that's these recent evictions, right? They're kicking our people out their houses for reasons basically because of what's going on with this so-called pandemic.
They should just alleviate the pay, to be honest.
Right.
Because who the fuck is gonna move in these times?
Right.
They should just exit out. All right, what, y'all can stay here for a little while till y'all get back right and you start back paying rent. Give you 2-3 grace period. But Esau's not willing to do that.
Right. But all these abandoned buildings in these cities and abandoned houses and neighborhoods
and the crazy part about it is you the one closed every fucking thing down to the fact where they can't get paychecks to pay rent. And then you gonna throw them out on top of that? This guy's the devil, man.
He's an unjust ruler.
Right.
Every day, every moment that goes by, he shows and proves why he's not fit to be in the position that he's in.
Exactly.
That's why Lamentations says what? That the Lord saw servants upon horses and princes walking upon the earth. See the princes, see the Israelites. This earth is just bearing witness that the Israelites must rule under the spirit of Yahweh Shemaiah. We have to. Because everything that Esau does, he literally is in a... But that's how you know these curses is coming upon him. Because every time he takes a step forward, he takes 10 steps back.
Right.
And every time he tries to recreate or fix his error and make another step forward, it messes up. Like how you say, like every time he makes a step, okay, so you shut down this place, but then you kick people out.
Right. What sense was that?
What? So then you defund the police, but then you create an environment where crime goes up.
Right.
He's out of balance.
Even if you give the police more money, the crime is still gonna go up.
Exactly.
Right.
Because no one. What will happen is it would initiate more of a militarized state in the country. Yeah, the police will have better guns. They're speaking about RoboCop type police. And we start seeing RoboCop, Jacob like, we gotta get our shit together quick, man. They out here for us.
Right.
So what? That's gonna be another clash of Jacob and Esau were never designed to
I'm never designed to
and
go
that's why
after
the
it.
scriptures say that
Cohabitate.
one that is more profitable has to be set up, man. Because this guy is unprofitable in everything that he do.
That's right, bro.
While he trying to shut shit down in with the notion of saving lives, he's furthering destroying lives. Man.
Right.
Put them out in the elements in which you're trying to protect them from. Now they don't have shelter to quarantine themselves.
Right.
So where do they go? Out into the so-called pandemic?
Loitering. They're loitering.
Loitering.
Which is another
one
crime.
stimulus check
$1,200
for over this whole 7-8 period month
It's
pandemic.
it's
going on a year.
Yeah.
We're closer to the year point of it than we are the beginning of it.
Exactly.
And he only sent one stimulus check. What, $1,200 per person, or you got another child, a little $500?
If you qualify for
If
it.
you qualify for it.
Yeah.
And by the time you got it, you was already backed up on bills. So you
This
really
is
ain't
wrong.
do nothing.
They didn't do nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
You, it's some more.
Yeah, a little bit more.
Okay.
They cause the naked to lodge without clothing, that they have no covering in the cold.
That's off.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the Trail of Tears. You had
Oh, man. That's true.
the Indian Removal Act.
Yeah, I was just looking
See,
at that.
like when I read this, I think about this Gad straight up. You
Yeah.
know, you hear about all those verses removing their landmarks. I'm like, this is Gad. This is like Gad Deuteronomy 28, man.
Yeah.
You know, it gives you the full land. And the scriptures ain't real. That's really war. Spoils of war.
Yeah.
That's what you do with spoils of war. You rob the hell out of them. You got booty. You know, you got another term called war looting and rape,
Pillage.
pillaging, all these different things. Because when you war looting, you raping the subject for all his resources. That's why you go to war. White man didn't go to war for the Native Americans for nothing. He wanted with the Gadites had, which is a form of coveting.
But you know what? If I may add to your point, this devil has weakened the nations in such a way where, man, war looting is natural, man.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, fucking fact, man. But war looting is natural. This world makes you feel like, oh, that's terrible. Oh my God. No, it's natural. That's part of defeating people, part of taking down. We only want our part. It's not that we don't want it to happen, because we gonna loot the hell out of this place. The scriptures, Judges 27, not Judges. Just obnoxious.
Yeah, that's what it is.
But
Jake paid an extra $30K for that.
just in living at home.
If that.
If that, man, living in that
Maybe
motherfucker,
living
man.
in the car or storage unit.
That's how through Jake is that Jake thinks that is what's the desire. See, Esau don't go in these countries looking to take over charges and challenges and shit. That's not on his goal when he goes in the Middle East or to certain parts of Africa and he's taking over resources.
Right.
No, he wants to,
resources.
like you always go into that word. He wants to oppress you. He wants to take life out of you. Like when we get into that power seat, we gonna take oppression to a whole other level. Like we gonna really bring these Edomites. We gonna wring the life out of them because it's necessary.
Right. That's true.
We can't wait to war loot.
No, but can't wait. That was it.
It's like that whole
I know,
car
yeah.
threw off the.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get your medallion.
All right. This is Ezekiel 35:5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, which that's what we're speaking about, the time of the trouble of Israel, and the time that their iniquity had an end, and that's the time we're at now. We're at the
That's right,
time that we're now, that we are coming back to the scriptures and we know who we are as a people. Now, that's the Lord saying, okay, y'all out of punishment. Okay? Now I'm going to start doing more things for
Adding
you.
back to you, restoring.
Right. Restoring, adding back to you, healing you. All right, in the spirit.
Yep.
It says, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. This is talking about the so-called white man. Because the brother said, the oppression coming into these other countries and taking their resources. Because really what he wants is he wants the renewable resources.
Right. Yeah.
Like water. You can use water to create energy. Water helps life. People. A man and a woman.
Minerals.
A man and a woman. right? You know, minerals, stones, jewels, gold, silver, all of that. But even men and women are a renewable resource because they can procreate. Okay? So it says,
And they can work.
right, and they can work to mine and get the other resources out of the earth. An actual human slave is probably one of the greatest
That's
assets.
a prize commodity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man can function like no other, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, man can function better as a useful tool than a beast.
Right.
And you got a lot of beasts that's strong
animals
assets,
too.
that's
Yeah,
essential, man.
yeah.
You know?
That's why America was able to be built up to the level that it is, because he had hundreds of years of just free slave of labor, man. That's value.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it says, since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So going back to even what the brother was saying initially, that there is no you repenting and you trying to pay us back and reparations and we want this many $1 trillion or $1 billion.
Truces.
Nah, that's you know truces, and we'll give you half the earth on this side and they're gonna take the other half of the earth. No, the Lord says, because you have shed the blood of the children of Israel, blood's gonna pursue thee. That's the only way that true justice can be done.
That's right.
And really, Esau passed that slave shit. You know,
Right.
he ain't even thinking about Jacob. You know, a lot of these top devils, they're not apologetic about slavery. They like, all right, y'all lucky. You niggas gotta be lucky we freed y'all. That's how they see it. Y'all be lucky we freed y'all last and gave y'all jobs. Now y'all able to become millionaires or whatever. You know, if so, the majority of them, they probably keep a lot of you jakes in slavery.
What? That's the good old days. When Esau talk about the good old days,
Make America great again.
what? The good old days when we was staring at the ground with shackles. That was the good old days.
Right.
This talking back to Esau and telling him to suck your cock, and you know how Jake do. Jake is disrespectful now.
Right.
Setting up camp.
Hey, Trump.
Talking
Hey,
shit
it's
about
funny
him.
because on the radio, Trump got a commercial where basically he says, "I've done more for black people
Damn.
since Abraham Lincoln."
That's what Trump said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Trump
Then you
said.
got Joe Biden, this devil to my. If you don't vote for him,
I mean,
he
you
ain't
ain't
black.
That's how, man, these devils are basically saying, look, without us, nigga,
Right.
you wouldn't be
We
in
make
this
you
sport.
niggas, man.
Well, that's what he
Make
said. Trump said the
Yeah.
same thing. He was like, "Well, what else you gonna do, black people?
Right.
You know, you've been unemployed, you've been in the ghetto. You might as well give me a chance." That's what
Yeah.
he said.
Right. Your backs against the walls, nigga. On the best day you got.
Yeah,
Best day since sliced
He's
bread.
yeah, that's a businessman.
Yeah,
Because
it's
he
been-
negotiates.
right,
He
right.
invested in
negotiate.
negotiating.
He
man.
really is. He's done more.
Salesman.
He's
Yeah.
done more than Abraham Lincoln. When you look at all the shit he's done, the stimulus checks, also with the student federal loan taxes.
Yeah.
All those executive orders that he signed recently.
He's the feds put the interest rates to 0, all under his all under his quote unquote watch. He really has done more for y'all niggas, but y'all keep shitting on him. He's really done it. Actually, like real talk.
Real shit.
I ain't trying to back his
No,
ass
it's real
up,
shit.
but it's real shit. It's just facts.
Right.
He done more. He done more for niggas than Obama did.
But see, Jake don't really look at policy and all these different things to scrutinize
They're
and
not
really
logical.
examine. They just coming from an emotional standpoint, but they don't really look at. Jake don't really know economics, the geo-economics of things. Because really Esau did pamper a lot of you niggas, man. With your Section 8, you have your housing,
Silver
you have all this
spoon
technology to
titty
fucking
babies.
yeah. If you look up a nanny state, brother look that up first as a nanny state. That's really America, man. You got Jakes, a lot of them got unemployment for extension of time, and they ain't even, fucking
Still going on.
yeah, a lot of them is doing
It's
fraudulent
true.
activity, making money from the government.
I got you. If you want that word real quick.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it back to the
You
brother.
said you got the.
I got it. The government regarded as an overprotective or as interfering unduly with personal choice.
Yeah, see, this is an overprotective society. The white man is very overprotective because what? That's property, and you have what a woman that's saying that women you have it's not self-esteem issues, but it's another one. But it means to jealousy. Jealousy is represent to want to protect. If you're jealous over something, the first thing you want to do is try to protect it. And the white man has that overprotective mentality because what? He wants to control you, control everything you do. And
Yeah.
that's why I said like a nanny.
Yeah.
If you see those nannies, a lot of them have complex.
Specifically though, not these new age American nannies, but if you go to those, they had a show about that.
Yeah, in the UK.
Where that UK nanny would she would actually travel overseas to these badass households.
Oh,
with
yeah,
kids.
I
Remember that show?
yeah.
And then she would put in
She would get that.
yeah, nanny 911 because you said it's overprotected. Because if you beat, like you said, if you abusing a goddamn child in your house, the state gonna come in and take the child because you are abusing its property. Like you can't be beating on this child. Like the fuck, that's the only like you only feel like what did Jake say? Only I can beat you. Don't let nobody put your hands on you, son. Why? Because that's my possession.
You got it, brother.
This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 11, and verse 42. For thou hast afflicted the meek, thou hast hurt the peaceable, thou hast loved liars, and destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit, and thou hast cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm.
Hey, and it says they destroyed the land of those that brought forth fruit. Here it is. You took over the Native American land and turned it into a fucking concrete jungle. You didn't even do right by the land that you stole from the so-called land. You polluted the air, the water, GMOs. Like, you took over some shit and wrecked it. That's what Esau is, man. He's a damn problem child.
Bro, who kills all the animals?
Who does that?
Who does that?
Like, come on, bro.
And even the Native Americans, they have the least even influential culture in America.
Right.
Like when you think about here in the city of Atlanta, like they don't have all kind of things dedicated to what Native Americans do.
Braves.
And Georgia was their territory.
They did.
Yeah, all this.
Bro, if you see a Native American nowadays, it's like a damn astonishment. You like, oh shit, it's a Native American.
Like you done seen a
And
Lamborghini.
Right, like you done seen a damn three-headed monster or something.
But you know what that is too? That just shows you the defeat of how Esau has defeated them, because everybody thinks that a Native American gotta have two long ponytails and a feather in his ear. And shit.
Right.
You know, and that's how simple our people are, and also how defeated like what you're saying, the culture of Gad is that much defeated that you think when you think of a Native American, you think of powwows. That's why I've always voiced my opinion on powwows. I personally, powwows, I don't like that energy because it's like a circus. It's a Native American circus for y'all to go on tour around the country and push an idea of what a Native American is.
Hey, they had they culture is so diminished, bro. They had a Netflix series about a basketball team up in somewhere on the reservation camp.
Oh, yeah, I
yeah,
seen
that
that.
was the pride and joy of this community. A fucking basketball team.
Yeah, the prospects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those natives are like third-class citizens, man.
That third would be nice.
I got a quick little
would be.
little paragraph, just diving into a little bit that happened during the Indian Removal Act.
And if I could say one other point before that, but like you're speaking about Native American influence, if you think about it, Greece and Rome has more influence on America than Native American influence. You have all these Grecian universities. You have the athleticism that comes from Greece. You have the amphitheaters. You have the Roman style structures. You have the Roman style coinage. The legislation is built from basically Roman. A lot of those things be like renewed policies, even going from ancient Rome.
Yeah.
Legislations that they actually, and a lot of people take their inspiration from Roman jurisdiction. It comes from Roman jurisdiction. None of this stuff comes from no Native American. Native American influence is probably less than 10%.
Well, really, the whole Northern Kingdom, because the Northern Kingdom put themselves in situations going back to the time of the split, where they put themselves in positions of being priests of Israel and in certain positions. So the Lord really, like the apostle said, the Lord really wasn't dealing with the Northern Kingdom like that. They're a major part of the nation of Israel. But really, if you're being honest, man, the Southern Kingdom has a major influence on the world, man.
Yeah. You got that there, right?
this is just to put things in perspective, man. You may think that we, yeah, we do hate the so-called white man, but hey, it's reason for it, man. The things that he's done to our people, man, is ridiculous, man. You can't even begin to put it in words, really.
No.
You know, it says in 1814, Major General Andrew Jackson led an expedition against the Creek Indians, climaxing in the Battle of Horseshoe Bend. It says where Jackson's forces soundly defeated.
And he's on the $20 bill. Or which bill is he on?
That's
20.
what state was that located?
In present-day Alabama, near the Georgia border.
Yeah, because that's when you go into the war of the five. I think they call them the five uncivilized nations. If you look that up, you know, you had the Creek, you had the Choctaw, you had the Cherokee, you had the Chickasaw, if I'm not mistaken, and you had the Seminole Indians, which the Seminoles was the last because they was going straight down. You know, because where did they land? Basically Jamestown. You know, what do they say, like Jamestown, Virginia. You know, but you had the Spanish, and you had the English, and you also had the Dutch. You know, you had the Portuguese. A lot of these different devils came here, you know, as a major expedition point, and they was pulling on all sides of America. And you started to see they got to the point where they started warring with each other.
Yeah.
French.
And you know, the king of the hill became what? The British, which the British broke off through the American independence, because when you go into it, it was because of high taxation.
Yeah. Double taxation without.
And they broke off from the American independence, you know. And then what did the first thing George Washington, which they made him the president, do? He imposed a whiskey tax, man. So that taxes starting to impose being in America. That's how you know that American, witchcraft, man. It's something else, man.
Yeah, that's why the mob was sneaking a lot of. They was bootlegging. That's what the whole Life movie was about.
But with
sneaking booze from the South.
Mm-hmm. But with the five uncivilized, they started aiming at the Creek. Then they started working their way to, like I said, the Choctaw, Chickasaw, I think it was the Creek. Matter of fact, let me read it. Put a little passage on it. You go ahead.
Creek, Choctaw, Chickasaw, Cherokee, and Seminole.
It says where Jackson's forces soundly defeated the Creeks and destroyed their military power, he then forced upon the Indians a treaty whereby they surrendered to the United States over 20 million acres of their traditional land.
Damn.
And about half of present-day Alabama and 1/5 of Georgia. Over the next decade, Jackson led the way in the Indian removal campaign, helping to negotiate 9 of the 11 major treaties to remove Indians.
And you know what's so fucked up? And you know what's so fucked up about Esau and that is Esau did all that as you just read, and so much with y'all two brothers were speaking on to take this land. But let us drive 2 hours west of here. Man, ain't no type of production, ain't no type of farming, and it's just sitting wasted land. Go 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours in any direction from Atlanta, ain't shit happening. So he did all of that to take the land from the original people to not do a goddamn thing with it.
Right, because driving from here to
That's crazy.
Driving from here to Mississippi, there's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Like you can take I-20 West and go straight. Once you get past
Like Birmingham? Yeah, Birmingham.
That's it. That is it. Literally, that's it. The only thing you're going to see is trees and trees.
The devil a hoarder. He hoarded the
Yeah,
land.
he
He didn't even need
all
all
They
that.
didn't even need
You
it.
didn't even need all that.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
But he didn't want to let them have it, because they get that's property rights. When you got a little bit of property, you could breed,
You could build.
you could build.
He could live in Gad and Reuben, even those Judah, Benjamin, Levi, they could live without him. Issachar, they could live without the white man's influence. He didn't want that. He didn't want to. You stay over here, we'll stay over there. We're going to build our America, and you keep your kingdoms. Nah, he didn't want that.
There's not
He
one
wanted everything.
state. There's not one state in the United States that is owned by Native Americans. You got to think about Africa. There is certain countries that still, the earth is given to the hand of the Edomites, but certain parts of Africa, you have the African president.
Yeah, their influence is definitely there.
Their influence is there. They have the presence in Africa. Like, all right, the white man got control of this these portions, but this is Africa. This is our country. You know, what states are this? The mayor, the elected, all the elected officials are just Gadites. They ain't got none of that, man. And it's Gadite paper. You know, they got Gadite literature where they're studying their culture, they're building, getting resources and basically rights to assemble and their own, style of military policing and things. They ain't got that, man.
That's one thing they're not going to let us have is any type of.
They don't have that, but that's still a small piece of nothing. A state, you gotta think. There ain't nothing for America could just crush Florida just like that. America could just crush it. If they wanted all the states to just come together to one state, and what they call impose sanction out a state, that like if all of
the federal government did that to a state, it'd be over.
To a state, that'd be over.
Did you pull up what you was looking for? The 5.
It was he had it right there. The Creek, the Choctaw, the Chickasaw, the
Seminole,
get that
Seminole
Isaiah
Church.
33, and then I'm gonna step down and hold your precept.
That's ultimate Stockholm syndrome too.
This is Isaiah 33, verse 1. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt seize the spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee.
Yeah, hey, and that's the recompense, man.
That precept right.
Because what the so-called white man did to the Native Americans, and we just touching the surface, man. This devil wickedness and atrocities that he did to the so-called Native Americans, that shit runs deep, man. All right? So when he's ceasing the spoil, and we see it now, man, the white man is losing his grip, man, and then it's going to be his time to serve slavery, man, 1,000 years under the same people that he has oppressed, man, that he has dealt treacherously with, all right? And it may seem like a harsh thing, but the scripture tell you, man, it's a righteous thing to recompense tribulation to those that trouble you, all right? And that's the only thing, and that's the real reparations, that's real reparations, man, because the brother here went into it, man. Only way that this could be reversed is by the shedding of the blood of those that shedded the blood, man, of the innocent, man. And that's the only way. And the Lord considers these names on this sign the apple of his eye, man. These are the Lord's chosen people. So you think you're just going to get away with doing all the things that you've done and not have to answer for it, man? And hey, and let the white man answer it here to say, yeah, he ain't got to pay for it. Hey,
well, he pointed back at you. Well, what did you do against the Lord? Didn't you break the commandments? Right. Didn't you turn your back on the way of the Lord? You know what I'm saying? He'll put it back on you.
You're the devil, man. The ultimate deceiver. You have pretty simple number.
Esau's not going to take accountability.
This is Psalm 73, verse 7. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish.
And that's it. That's it. Yep. And that was going into how he totally, how many acres? That's crazy.
20 million?
20 million acres of land. So they said that's of traditional land. That's, half of the present day Alabama big as shit.
It's only half of Alabama?
They ain't giving away 40 acres in the middle.
Right,
but then
it's a half of the present day Alabama and 1/5 of Georgia.
Wow.
That's a lot of land.
That's a lot of land, bro.
To say that again, he took all of this from them, and he can't even, like you said, bro. You could have just left them Texas. You could have just left them Washington State.
I would rather been a sharecropper.
City.
You could have left them, North Dakota.
Split it half and half. You take the East Coast, we take the West Coast.
But that's what the gold rush was about. Nah, we're not gonna give you the West because it's gold in there.
Right.
But the scriptures say that Esau, these so-called white people, they're not keepers at home.
Yeah.
They're not keepers at home. So at the end of the day, they're selfish. You got the floor. I'm just gonna finish my point, bro. Their selfishness won't allow them to let you build. Like, imagine if you watching somebody, if they really sat back and let us build, they would have to look over the fence. And they're too envious to allow us to just build. Esau ain't gonna let you just have building without his nose being in it, because we'll surpass him overnight.
Exactly. And that's why, we speak about he that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy. Because if actually, you had an idea on how to rule and how to dominate and conquer nations, and you put that into a societal thread, so to speak, for people that would be banding together, like Wall Street. You know, that's the example of what the not natives, excuse me, Jake, you know, which is predominantly I keep saying natives, black, so-called blacks, you know, African Americans, and it probably was a couple of Gadites in it, you know, but for them to actually have, you know, that economic unity, how did the so-called white man pay him back?
Right.
He paid him back with bloodshed, and he used conspiracy. And if you see a lot of those battles that took place, it was all because of conspiracy.
Lies.
The battle of Wounded Knee. Brothers can look that up when you get the chance. That's a pretty heavy Native American battle.
Yes.
You know,
Battle right there.
I think they said it was a false shot, and it led to basically an extreme shootout, and it killed. You know, they basically killed majority of those Native Americans, man. But you know, the white man is all about what? Conquering and controlling. You get no influence. You ain't gonna tell. You're not gonna. It's not gonna be a divided taught university. All these universities in America. If you study chemistry in Georgia and study chemistry in New York, you're gonna learn the same goddamn thing. They're not gonna push their personal theories. You know, it's all gonna be the same built-in structure, and it's a web. But if there's a different, you teach Israelite curriculum in the high schools and middle schools. We're gonna teach you the white man is the devil. That's right. That's not gonna coexist in the society. He's gonna X that out. They even do that with medical departments. If you're teaching herbs, remedies, the cure for things, you can get locked up for that. You can actually face time.
Yeah, that's what it's
You can study it to
apathy. Apathic.
They have
Allopathic and homeopathic,
Yeah.
which is not seen in the same light as westernized.
Right.
It's not approved
But
by
you
the
can study
FDA.
herbs and plants to put it into an antibiotic pill or something, but to study it as a cure, they won't let you do that.
You can read that. I got a precept for you, so you go ahead.
So,
Go ahead. Okay. This is Psalms 55 and 21. And it says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart.
Yeah, he's a slithering serpent. And you see how smooth he is with his speech. You know how he you know, that's why when you look at these politicians, they're very elegant, you know, or eloquent. You know, they came from the top universities, and when you talk to them, you know, a lot of jakes get caught in that web, man, that political web. Then they start calling themselves a Democrat or Republican or what are they?
Independent.
Liberal.
Independent. What's the liberal? I forget the
Liberals, conservatives.
Yeah, conservatives. You know, and it's all still you know, attached to the same beast system, man. You know, and then a lot of those jakes, you know, they have their different views on how society should be built and structured, but they never think about national, real nation independence from your nation. So-called black should have this. And if they want to give Jake something, it's something within the system. They don't want.
that's why they'll let them go.
They don't want territorial rights. You know. So Jake is in a minuscule mentality.
That'd be the worst thing. That would be the worst thing. That would be like the nail in the coffin to Esau's society, is if he allowed these Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans to have, like you said, Black Wall Street, entrepreneur mind state, and the land to produce. That's a problem. Like, even though we talk shit about Jake buying the land, it's still a sign of Jake trying to do something, and that's still a thorn in the side of Esau, because Esau can't allow us to build. Jake left the projects in the 80s and 90s and became millionaires. Imagine if Jake had all the resources to truly build.
Right. And even like, okay, you catch, and then so some people nowadays they'll say, well, what about Liberia? You have Monrovia out there in West Africa.
Yep.
What about Akon and his city? Right? Well, all of that is based off of the system. Akon couldn't do that if he didn't agree to every single document, every single piece of because basically it's all about building that city based off of Esau's new emerging banking system.
Yeah, smart cities.
Yeah, smart cities. That's not his own brain, his own idea, like his own. That's not sovereignty. Okay, that's just really that's just putting their name on a piece of paper.
Yeah,
But
same
when
thing
it comes
with,
down to actually the city running itself, it's all going to be under the control of Esau.
Yeah, what's the money?
It's under the government. And then you just like Tyler Perry Studios, you know, a lot of people was bedazzled by the fact that he got his own street, you know, and Tyler Perry Studios. But what is that theatrical control under? Esau. And Esau basically financed and basically, you know, through his movies and things that nature, he generated a lot of revenue under those different production rings, you know.
He gets taxed. I picked up a producer lady one time doing Uber, and she said they give these movie production companies get such big tax breaks by shooting these movies and shows here. It's crazy. That's why a lot of these.
That's why when the whole
taking away abortion
thing happened, they threatened to leave the state because it was like, oh, well, that's just going to hurt our chances of making these movies here, so we'll go somewhere else. Yep. They didn't want that, so they had to,
Let me finish the comment. It says, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
Yeah, and that's how he comes to rub your back without stabbing you at the same damn time, man. You know, letting that blow. And he had done that time and time perpetually. Like I said, you know, you think about, you know, the so-called white man's influence around the world, and we talking about the upper leaders, man. We ain't talking about the common, you know, white man, you know, that eats, you know, Chick-fil-A.
It's frozen dinners.
Yeah, you know, frozen dinners and gets his ass cussed out. You know, like that, you know, white man on Ozark. Or, you know, you fucking middle class white man that's making $500,000 a year. You know, or $300,000 a year or something. We ain't talking about them, man. We're talking about, you know, the head honchos, the big fish,
the big dogs.
Yeah, big dogs. Because everybody else is really irrelevant. It's about the top. It's about the top. You know, through the spirit, the scriptures speak about nations and kings and things of that nature. When it's talking about the beast system, it's not talking about the white man that's making them $20 an hour, man.
Right. Talking about the heads and the chiefs of these
It's talking about
chiefs ain't gonna have the chip.
Yeah, that's right.
Because the chip says that he calls them all small, great, rich, and poor. The elite is even beyond the rich.
It's like he called it.
Yeah.
So it's just.
Why would you chip yourself?
Why would you chip yourself?
Let's put these handcuffs on my own goddamn self.
They're gonna be the ones reaping the benefits from the chip.
They're gonna control the chip. They patent the chip. The ones that patent these products don't take it.
Right.
You know, you have came up with this serum to stop a disease or a virus, and you patent it as a something to help out, and you distribute it to people that need it. But you don't need it. You got it to use. You know,
Did the guy from Apple even say he don't even use his own products?
Yeah, he did say that.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs said he don't even use it.
So
there
you go.
That's because they're the kings of witchcraft. You got the you know, you got the wizard wand. You gonna use the wizard wand on yourself?
Right.
You think Harry Potter was?
Hell
all
no.
himself?
Men in Black. Hold on.
But you know what the scripture says that the deceived and the deceiver are his, because really Esau is being controlled by the Most High on the left hand side. The Most High basically has, you know, in righteousness, he has the true one of control, which is the spirit, man. And he controls what? Men in their sleep. It tells you that in the book of Job. So these devils that's really thinking that they're actually doing something that's you know, revolutionary or, you know, out of the influence of the Most High, or innovative, as they say, you know, it's still all according to what? Prophecy.
That's right.
We're living inside prophecy. The white man can't do nothing outside of what was written in the book.
I had something else for you. Well, you guys.
Yeah, but this is Psalm 73. Psalm 73 and I saw at the top. It says, "Truly, Yahweh Bashmi Shai is good to Israel, even to such as are of a clean heart. But as for me, my feet were almost gone. My steps had well nigh slipped.
Yeah, my steps had well nigh slipped. Keep going.
But I was envious at the foolish.
Yeah, he said, I was envious at the foolish. Keep going.
When I saw the prosperity of the wicked."
Yeah, and when you read about the prosperity of the wicked, I think that's Psalms 37. He said, I've seen the wicked,
spreading up like a Green Bay tree. See, that's Psalm 37.
Because what? A Green Bay tree, when you look at it, it roots up and it spreads outward. The so-called white man spread himself outward to the world. That's Job 9:24. Earth given into the hand of the wicked. The wicked rules the world. The scriptures speak about the rulers of the wicked. In with that Ephesians the 6th chapter, speaks about principles on high. It speaks about the matter of fact,
Spiritual wickedness.
in high places. So where does spiritual wickedness reside? In the high places. Where are the high places? The ones that are live the high life. Which they got the top demons that actually work with them to actually prey on the lesser, man.
Well,
the lesser soul.
if I may say, when you go to these, we were talking about the tech game today, but when you go to any of these sport events, where do the elites sit at? The true elites don't sit courtside. They sit in what is known as the executive boxes, the sky boxes. Because why? The sky box gives you a viewpoint of over everybody. The elite aren't sitting courtside. That's a nigga that wants to be seen. The elite are.
But the owners don't sit.
Yeah, the owners don't sit courtside.
The owners, sitting at the
That's
top.
why Mark Cuban caught a lot of slack for doing so, because he's really the owner that does that.
Yeah. Maverick.
What I consider a high level person is going to sit from a sky box at an elevated point to look down.
That's that aerial
Eagle.
view.
That eagle.
Eagle eye, yeah. But even with the Romans, when you see the gladiatorial rings, they wasn't in the front. Because what? Most of the bloodshed, and niggas be tumbling in the damn front.
Yeah.
See, you got fucking the whole, 6'10" nigga that them tumbling on top of you, man.
Right, you all on the floor.
Certain people used to get cut. You would see certain battles, depending on how close it was, or even them street battles, and you see like Ong Bak, the Muay Thai people will be on the outside, and you'll see people getting hit, or the dude getting thrown into the front. But most of the owners was actually on top, really watching it from you wasn't, because they would be sitting beside each other, and they would be the ones that would be making the major bids, and you would see how they would own those slaves.
Yeah.
Whether it was fighting rings, or or sports, the gladiatorial rings. And like I said, with gladiators, you would see them actually cutting each other in the blood, but they'll splatter on people in the front, man. But you would see the Caesars like in the movie Gladiator. They were clean,
Yeah.
sweet. Yeah.
They show you that in
He didn't even know how to war.
What's
He
that
didn't even
movie?
know how to battle.
Right.
And then you see when he actually, because he was a spectator,
Right.
But when it actually came down to it, you see how he had to actually injure the man to even try to beat him, and still got put it down.
Right.
What's that movie with Will Smith and Margot Robbie when he was doing the basically he was betting. He was like he was doing the numbers. What was that movie?
Focus.
Yeah, Focus. Yeah. Focus, and basically it showed you all the top players were in the skybox above the game. And he was basically
Making $1 million bets.
Yeah, on this player, when you see this player with this number,
Yeah.
who's, you know what I'm saying? He's going to make this move and make that move.
Yeah, the
He's
poor.
gonna give a signal.
The poor want to be in the front where the blood hits them, because poor people always want that excitement.
Yeah.
It's a poor. And really, sports it's sports aren't really a middle class avenue. That's either you pouring you into it from a poor man's place, like you want Floyd to punch somebody and his blood, it gets onto your shirt. You're like, oh
He
yeah.
got a sweat towel. He threw it into the
Yeah, like that's how they always show you, or you a spectator from a high point. Really, it's either you wealthy in it or you poor, man.
Man.
I got his jersey.
Because sports has been since the the beginning of time, but it's about the style of sport,
Yeah.
and how you actually how sport actually influences you. Because when you even go into sport goes in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Esau has hunting sports and things of that nature. But you keep on with that.
All right, Psalm 73 and 4. For there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men.
Yeah, they're not playing. Meaning they ain't under the curses. They don't have that dark cloud that rides on top of them like you do. You know, Jake be having a curse that just goddamn sits with him, man, everywhere they fucking go, man.
Every other day,
You know?
every other week is some bullshit.
That's why Jake be having these immaculate stories of the fucking hell they catch.
Struggle.
He saw them be having them stories. You think Donald Trump got stories of the hell that he caught, man?
Yeah, his story was,
George Bush
I only
Jr.
started with $1 million.
Yeah, man. See, and
What the fuck? Shit you can't relate to.
But,
Right.
but real
shit
talk,
you can't really.
Hey, but
Like,
real talk-
but see, we look at that like a lot, but
Right.
if you think about it, $1 million is really not a lot of money.
that's what I'm about to say. Like, on their tier, damn, he really started from nothing.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
but we look at it like,
Nigga, you started with
nigga,
a
you know
million.
what I
You know
that
what,
would
Jay?
get me in so many positions right now. But like in his he's like, I only started with $1 million, and look what he, you know. But that makes sense.
That's why the scriptures say, envy not the prosperity of the wicked, because you'll be in positions and be around them, and you be like, man, it'd be hard not to be envious of them.
Right.
You know, you be in certain positions, like it's one thing to read it and watch it, you know, the amazing life of the elite, but when you go see how Esau's mind works and the way he really lives, you know, they live a whole other life. Like rich people don't wear the same socks.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like little things like that at us. Like we wash clothes. Rich people wear socks and drawers once.
Right.
Rich white women wear bras once. We be struggling with how the fuck I'm gonna go wash these clothes. Rich people be like, what do you mean wash clothes?
I mean, they had the Key and Peele.
Disposable.
They had the Key and Peele episode with Jaden Smith. I don't know if y'all ever seen that one.
I don't know that.
But I'm assuming it was in the group.
What do you do?
But basically,
Are you speaking English?
it was a director that was speaking to him, and he was speaking this common shit, like you supposed to know. You know, I just gotta send it to you. I just gotta send it out to the brothers, but it just shows you really how these rich people basically they don't like Paris Hilton. I remember on that. Yeah, I remember Paris Hilton was big.
Oh man.
She was like, "What's a Walmart?"
You want some? Yeah.
Just simple as.
Oh, did you see what Gucci went to?
But they look like that, that's a dumb blunt. But a lot of those white people, they be so fucking oblivious because they in a whole nother world. That's why it's
Yeah.
what you got
Yeah.
white privilege. They don't understand what Jake be going through in these fucking ghettos.
Shit, just rich privilege.
Mariah Carey said that years ago. She was like, "What's up?" They were asking her about bills, and she was like, "What's a bill? Like, what's a bill? Like when you rich, what is a bill?
What is
Yeah.
anything
pay the
that
first
they're
25.
going
Especially like you, because
They shit on
they got
Holiday.
phone bills, right? Their phone bill, of course they're gonna get with that. Their phone bill ain't no more than
They don't see that shit.
That's nothing.
Phone
You get the
bill.
same coverage.
But you know what showed us how
Phone bill, those things don't exist when you rich.
Yeah,
If I'm
yeah.
rich, if I'm exist,
They
if
got the
I'm rich,
people to pay that.
phone bill doesn't exist in my. I'm gonna pay my.
That's
fucking-
coming from
I'm
a
gonna pay my
petty-
lifetime of worth of phone bill.
that's a petty account with 100,000. It be Edomites that look just like that have an account with a light 80 in it. Just a light 80, just on a regular like
88,000.
88,000 in just this account.
Yeah.
We don't know that. Like how you say, like bills. Rich people don't have bills. Bill, the nature of a bill is a poverty thing.
Well,
they created
the
the
reason
bill.
why they don't have bills is because their passive income overrides everything that they spend
Right.
money on.
Right.
So they have,
Residuals and
so their residual income keeps basically doubling and tripling. You know, it appreciates. That's appreciation on top of appreciation.
If I,
And you have people that invest to actually get attached to their brand, which is property. So all your, I mean, that's when you have, which the companies have certain costs that cut into their budget. But after their actual, you know, which they have the fiscal years, the fiscal years and the fiscal cliffs, where they'll actually use that as a financial, and then they'll see how much they gross. Just like with movies, you'll see the same thing with the budgets, all the things that they cut out, and then you see what they gross. But that is a bill. That is what do they say, like the overhead.
Yeah,
That's
expenses.
That's the expense sheet.
But it hits different.
But at the end of the day, you get the major piece of the pie.
Yeah.
That's where you have enough where your assets, you know, you can produce. Where you can buy houses, you can buy this, you can buy that, you can buy that, you can buy that. And that gradually grows. Then you know, especially for an exponential amount of money for a prolonged period of time, like Apple. Apple ain't going out of business.
Yeah.
You know.
Because you know, if I may say, like the curses, you know, like the scriptures speak about the curses falling up on Jake. Because Esau's mindset, like how you say, their mindset is different. Like Esau go into a business and say, all right, the first 2-3 years of the business, we're gonna lose money. But after that, we're gonna make X amount of money for the next 10-15 years. Hey, Jake don't go into business with a mindset like that. Jake started a business and hope that the business lasts to the end of the year. Esau don't go into a business with a mindset of it's gonna fail. He knows, all right, we're gonna lose money for the first 3 years. Hold back, fellas, we good. But once we hit year 4, 5, and 6, we're gonna recuperate. We're gonna sit back. That was it on mine. It was on me.
All right, and so Psalm 73:6. Therefore, pride compassed them about as a chain, violence covered them as a garment. Which you can equate that with the elite because the fact that they can do all these things, that's why they got their pride. And it says violence covers them as a garment because, for one thing, dealing with war is a racket. War is how a lot of these major businesses, a lot of how these banks, of course, at least that's how they make their money. Through violence. Even now, with all these cop killers, right? So with the whole defund the police and all of that, right? Well, that means what? The state can ask for more money. Well, because this is happening, we need more money. So we can, because what happened, like we said earlier, crime rate goes up.
Yep.
So therefore, they can request more money to come in to the state, to come into the city, so they can fund the police officers. And once they fund the police officers, they get better equipment, they get better tactical,
Remember, certain state of emergencies had to be signed for money to be opened up for the state of Georgia.
Right. But shoot, that happened all over the country. But because of a crisis, basically, whether it's a shooting or whatever, that is where money can be made. Because it opens up those opportunities to get more money flowing in. This is verse 7. It says, their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish.
Yeah, fatness represents what? Wealth. And that was one of the blessings that Esau was to get. That the fatness shall be the earth. When you possess fatness, you possess something that you can fully devour, man. And Esau has the fatness, which is the control over all these different things. That's why most people learn under their universities. In order to get a certification in America, you have to go into the university. Hey, and this is really like some Black Mirror type shit, really, to be honest. This is really the Twilight Zone. Most people can't even hear this truth. But
want to be educated.
But when you go through their fucking phones, if we actually had some, like the Most High's mind and went through everybody's phone, which, of course, you got the phone. You know what everybody views and things of that nature. But you be like, man, this is what the fuck everybody's into, man. And it'd be like just complete bullshit.
TikTok and Cardi B.
Yeah, dancing, because what? That's what's hip right now. That's what can get you, trending. Which the scripture speak about, the fashion of this world fadeth away. And that's what can get you money to get status. And it's all just hypnosis. Jake is under a fucking spell here, man.
Yeah.
This is verse 8. It says, they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily.
Yeah, but you can go to
I do want to make a point, but I can't real quick on that, how it says that they speak wickedly concerning oppression. Y'all remember that video? I think Papa Hart put it up too. Basically, down there in Florida, where they was cutting off everybody's bills and they couldn't pay the bill, and the Jake got mad.
Oh yeah. That was in the council.
Yeah, they was in the council down there. I forget which city.
Yep.
But basically, people weren't able to pay their bills. They weren't able to basically make their living to do what they had to do. And so they was basically having a council on whether or not things should continue to be shut off, or should they shut everything back on, or give them a break. What should they do? I think this was even right before the shutdowns happened.
Yeah, it was right in the beginning.
Yeah. So right, it happened right at that particular time. So basically, one of the, it was a Jake, black guy on the council, and he got mad at the white woman, basically saying, "Look, you're going to cut off their bills." People. cut their lights and their water off because they can't pay their bills when we're in the middle of a crisis.
Yep.
And the other white people on the council ain't had nothing to say. The one white woman, she basically was like, whatever. Because when it comes down to oppression, they don't care. They speak evil and wicked concerning what our people go through.
They're heartless.
They're
Yeah,
heartless,
yeah.
they're merciless.
When you speak loftily, you speak from a high position.
Right.
You know, that's that holier than thou mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it'd be white supremacy. That's why the white man doesn't understand what blacks go through. They don't look from a so-called Negro's perspective on why they. If I was the white man, I understand why blacks don't like me. I would, you know.
You should.
It makes all the sense in the world. If I was a white man, I understand why they. But you know, a lot of these Edomites, they don't understand that. If you ask a white man, do you understand why black people don't like you?
It's
Or
because
like
they're
you like your
lazy and they project. It's all we're the reason. It's our fault why they don't like us.
They speak from a so-called high class perspective. You know, they're gonna come up. They're gonna speak loftily. That's another word to be condescending.
Yeah.
Condescending, yeah.
You know, basically speaking down on you because they believe they're better than you.
What is it?
That's a form of
manifest destiny.
yeah. That's a form of white supremacy. You know, through what communication? He speaks to you like you're a subject, like he has rulership over you. Lordship.
Verse 9, it says, they set their mouth against the heavens and their tongue walketh through the earth.
Yeah, the tongue represents that influence. The tongue walking through the earth, democracy. You see all these different, political, like you had the G20 summits and these different things, you know, which is summits with all the nations and things of that nature. And then it tells you that in Psalms 83, that was a G20, you know, that was a biblical G20 or
Right.
the first
That
one.
was the
First summits, man.
The written account.
You know, and they would get together and they would conspire against the Israelites, conspire against nations. And you see that a lot of those Edomite nations actually was for those assimilations, you know, assemblies.
Yep.
That's why it tells you in Psalms 137 how by the rivers of Babylon, and it speaks about the Edomites said, race it. They was talking to the Babylonian nations to say, kill off all the Israelites, man.
Right.
And basically destroy them under nationality. Same thing with what? The Greeks and the Persians. See, wherever Esau fits in, he's trying to kill off majority of Jacob, man. Even, if I'm not mistaken, Moses had to go through the Edomite land, leaving Egypt. And he was, you know,
We're just gonna buy water and food.
It was like, no, you gotta go around. They said you gotta go around.
They wasn't even trying to actually give us leeway to actually. They were like, oh shit, you know what? Hey, we got the same fault.
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Yeah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
And Esau. They didn't think like that.
They didn't think like that. They're like, hell nah. Oh, you want to run? Oh shit, y'all was in slavery.
Oh, y'all going to the promised land?
So, you know, they didn't think, all right, we're gonna take y'all in, we're gonna make y'all refugees, we're gonna give y'all asylum and get y'all right, and then we'll let y'all go ahead and get pathway to get to the Holy Land. You know, they were like, hell no. Nah. The white man has always hated the guts. Ain't nothing changed now. Now the white man is
Love, peace, and happiness.
love, peace, and hair grease, man. The hell out of here, man.
So it says, it says, therefore his people return hither, and waters of a full cup are wrung out to them. So basically, they always being, they're basically like, wherever their influence goes, the surplus and the bountiful fruits of everything is always going to come back to it. Right? It says,
That's why, Salaki, you know, we were saying earlier, that's why it's really disrespectful for him to be like a 40 acres and a mule. Because you don't even know how many times you individually have served slavery on this side. Like, wait a minute, maybe I want a 40 acres and a mule for each time I've been here. But you know, Esau don't account for that. He's just, we'll just throw him something. But because he knows that everything gonna come back to him, man. He knows how big his power structure is over our people.
Yeah. And he knows how much Jake would take a loss out of that 40 acres in the
Yeah.
You know, You give Mary J 40 acres in the mule, they're gonna end up fucking it up, man. Jake
Selling
doesn't
it.
understand investments. They don't understand what to do with a mule. They don't understand what to do with acres. You know. So Jake just don't have the mentality to even be in rulership any damn way because the so-called white man took that away from them.
Jake is the perfect slave.
Yeah, they're great workers at this point.
Yeah.
Small that.
It says, and they say, how does God know?
And they say, how does the Most High know, Q1?
And is there knowledge in the Most High?
And is there knowledge in the Most High? So they speculate, you know, through their different theories. Because you'll see these different white people, and they have multiple theories. You know, you know, they don't subscribe to one. They'll have different notions and their thoughts. You know, they say if God exists, this, that, and the other. But if He doesn't exist, you know, if they be like, and a lot of them believe if the Most High don't exist, then this world basically belongs to white people to control it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, as a, you know, you'll see these businessmen, and you can't say the earth isn't given to the white man. You know, through their businesses, through their technology, through their resources and control, development, and cool. Hey, who's the head? You know, the chip. What's the head of the microchip industry? The Edomite, man. They don't goddamn care, man.
Show us how ain't a black person.
Well, you have Elon Musk. You have
Who's the face of the microchip right now?
Bill Gates.
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
But when you look into the microchip, the one that actually creates the microchip,
Yeah.
brother can look up that the creation of the microchip, the name of the one
That was Carl Sanders, I believe.
that's a damn devil, man. And he's gonna help, you know, take this world, you know, by surprise. Through what? Shipping technology. So that's the real power. That's the real power structure. You know, it ain't no damn Edomite, right?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
You know, ain't gonna be no goddamn heirs, you know, that's gonna push the chip. They're gonna get chip. Whereas they're gonna have their own chip, and they already getting into the Internet of Things, and you know, majority of that is damn near AI any damn way. You know, they got their eyes on all. That's another little China right there, man.
Which the system itself, they would have to use that one centralized system that Esau, because any country can make their own digital currency and make their own chip, but what system are they going to attach it to? That's what they're trying to develop now.
It's tons of cryptocurrencies.
Right.
It's not just Bitcoin.
Right. But so now, just reading that passage where it says, what it says? It says, and it's the knowledge in the Most High, right? Because basically it's saying here it is the wicked got all these riches, got all these resources. Why are we gonna turn to God? That's basically what it's saying. Like, why would the wicked find prosperity in following the Most High when it's their own ways, their own mind, their own influence, their own wickedness that has gotten them the control of the earth?
Yep.
You know, there's one more. It says, verse 12, behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world, they increase in riches.
These are the ungodly who prosper in the world, they increase in riches. And it says also in I think Psalm, these are they who have their portion in this life. When you have your portion, you got you know, like I got my portion. We don't have no portion here. You know, that's why this life is a curse to us. You know, we don't enjoy life, but you do really have people that enjoy life. They live the most of you know, in their lives. You know, they can travel at the drop of a dime, go to Spain and go to, you know, Belgium. You know, they can land on an island, which are, you know, mainly you damn devils, man.
And you gotta make that covenant with death.
Yeah.
That's the only way that you can get your portion of the royal dainties on this side. Is you gotta make that covenant with death. You know, to truly enjoy life is what you're saying, not just have one car and smash a chick from time to time and eat good chicken. You know, like if you say flying, you decided to go to Greece for pizza today. You gotta be part of a certain circle.
Yeah. And you're not subject to time. You know, you don't have to go to this place, that place, this place.
Because that's the hardest thing in life. The wealthy understand how to separate their time from their money. Our time is our money because we're slaves.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing to like. That's the hardest thing that's a demon that you can't really defeat on this side. It's separating your time from your money.
Yeah, but
The rich know how to.
Yeah, and you got to think about the middle class. You know, a lot of them got to stay rich. You know, because and they got to put in work time to stay rich. But if they don't put in that time of work, they ain't gonna be rich anymore. So they gotta trade their time for their money.
That's why they're middle class, because it's all about choices. The rich don't make. Really, the rich. You said this one time. It would be hard as hell for some. It'd be hard as hell for Jeff Bezos to go poor.
Oh yeah, nah, he's not going.
You know what I'm saying? He would have to legitimately work hard at going broke. That's how rich he is.
It's still not working.
Yeah, he would have to. He could. No, even if he stopped working, he would have to. Like I think they said in a stat that if he gave every one of his employees at Amazon $100,000, he would still be as rich as he was before the pandemic. If he gave every one of his employees $100,000, he would. It would. It's work for him to go broke.
Yeah, it's like
It's impossible.
And let's say he lost his. Let's say next week he lost all of his money, his everything in a crash, right? Or let's say he lost everything. Just because he's Jeff Bezos, he's still a part of a circle that would still push him and put him in a position to get that shit back. He's still a part of that super rich circle. You know, just because who he is.
Just because of who he is.
You know.
Well, yeah, and that's where power really lies.
Yeah.
You know, your power ain't how much you make, you know, as income. It's what you actually control. He controls people through what? Devices. And he will always have, the, you know, like you have these different, you know, technological companies, you know, they're subject to what is called device, it's a term where it's miniaturization of devices, and it keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Like the cell phone.
Right.
But you know, a lot of those different companies actually failed, you know, at times. But those individuals are still rich, you know, them and their family members and things of that nature.
See,
Because they'll sell off the company will go in, but they still got their money, and they'll go off and they'll do something else, or they'll reinvest in the new company.
Well, again, it goes to Esau destroyed us. He literally destroyed our people, and he built up his own self and his own people. Everybody's familiar. Hey, Kashiwala, what's that guy, Rich Dad, Poor Dad? You know the author of that?
You said Rich
Dad, Poor Dad, the book. Robert. Yeah,
I never read that.
yeah. So in the book, he speaks on the concept of his rich dad, and his rich dad made a statement about I own nothing. This is how rich white people move. I own nothing, but I control everything. Because Jake think they doing something when they get a basic LLC or a sole proprietary, but Esau understands what all those business things do because he knows how to maneuver himself, so he never takes a loss. He never takes a loss. Even if Apple lost and went on a business, the owners, the trustees of the board, they're not going broke because Apple is an individual of itself. Right. Apple went broke.
Apple is his own.
Not the people that owned it.
Right.
Apple went broke and they move on. Right. It's a different. They move different than us. These curses is different on us.
What they do?
Wells Fargo. It was Wachovia.
Yeah.
Wachovia went on it, but now it's Wells Fargo.
That's why you have those different chapters as protection plans for when you collapse. You basically, you know.
Yeah.
You got a protection plan. A lot of them get money to go ahead and shut it down. They'll file bankrupt and they'll basically write it off as they, you know, as a loss. You know, like if you see the Boy Scouts just collapsed, and they had so many goddamn lawsuits on the Boy Scouts because all those billion dollar I think it was billions of dollars of pedophile cases that occurred in the Boy Scouts, and they didn't have enough money to pay for all those pedophile cases, so they collapsed, and basically they got to keep all the money.
Yeah.
You know,
because of how the business is written.
So basically they're smoking them out like, all right, we're just gonna destroy the company, but the company itself didn't lose their money. They don't have to owe it to the children. No, they sued the Boy Scouts, the actual corporation. They wasn't suing the actual individuals that was actually committing the crime. So they were like, all right, we're just gonna have to. Which that was really a sex ring, to be honest.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, yeah.
The Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts were actual sex trafficking rings.
Yeah.
That was the primary reason why they had those. They probably made. That's why it collapsed, because it was worth that the amount of sex that actually they were suing for was more than the actual worth of what they was doing
Behind the scenes to keep it going.
to keep it going. What was they fucking doing? Teaching little boys knots. You know, that was what they was making it, you know, teaching them how to swim. None of that shit cost money.
Right.
They was actually, you know, sexually abusing them, and they had those different, you know, homosexual, you know, fake teachers basically at those camps.
Yeah.
Molesting the shit out of those children, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of them knew it. A lot of them was in on it.
Payoffs and
And that was basically like a Roman Catholic
Same thing.
religious front.
Yeah.
They front in the forefront, but in the background, that's where they do their wickedness. And that's what witchcraft don't go on in front of you. You see these politicians, you think they're gonna fucking drink blood right in front, like they gonna have a glass of blood while they doing that. Like Trump gonna come on live with a glass of blood.
yeah, chill, y'all.
Oh yeah, well, you know I drink blood.
A lot of that is rituals too. It's like you don't do demonic rituals in the open. You got to do it because really it don't work like that. The magic wouldn't work. You got to do it. The rituals don't work like now. They do it, but they'll do the effigy. They'll do the symbolic in the open, and they'll do the real in the back.
Yeah, the hidden in plain sight shit.
Yeah,
That's
the
in the
hidden
face.
inside. Yeah, that's just that's stuff you can catch.
Yeah, we
Got
got
it.
wisdom solid too.
This is Psalms 64:1, and it says, "Hear my voice, O power, in my prayer. Preserve my life from the fear of the enemy."
Yeah, it says preserve my life from the fear of the enemy. Yeah, and the enemy has control to take the lives of Jake from them, man. So you got to move with your head on a swivel. You know, you got to know what to say, when to say it, how to say it, how to react. You know, where to be, where not to be. You got to know when to cloak yourself, when to put yourself out in the open. You know, you got to know how to maneuver and you got to know how to dance in the fucking you know, dance to the symphony of this damn world, man. You know how to actually keep yourself in sync.
Camouflage yourself.
You know what's going on, man. Knowing how to adapt. Because a lot of Jakes don't know how to adapt, man.
That's what intelligence is. Intelligence is the ability to adapt.
Yep. And this you know, system we in now, you see a lot of Jakes couldn't adapt to this whole pandemic, and the suicide rates jumped astronomically.
And we about to really go into a time of that.
Yeah, and people still committing suicide like hell right now. You know, because what, they couldn't adapt to this new you know, what they say, the new norm. Their mothers, you know, losing their jobs, and all these people losing their jobs, they're already on the brink of homelessness, and they gotta, you know, do these different things. You know, Jake going through it. Get that wisdom and Solomon too.
Verse 2 says, "Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity." And like we've been going into, a lot of this deals with the secret counsel of the wicked. You know, these policies and these are hidden agendas, covert and overt missions. It all starts as a secret council. All right, they going back, you know, to Bohemian Grove. I think that kind of slid by us over the summer. You know, all of these different events, like you said, the wickedness is done in secrecy. You know, you got it, bro.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 1. "For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright.
Yeah, for the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright." Keep going.
Our life is short and tedious,
Our life is short and tedious. Keep going.
and in the death of a man there is no remedy.
Yeah, in the death of a man, there's no remedy. Keep going.
Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave."
Yeah, and this is how the wicked thinks. Neither is there any man to turn from the grave. Keep going.
Verse 2, "For we are born at all adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we had never been."
Yeah, it tells you in the book of Proverbs, it's a sport for a fool to do sin. said we were born at all adventure. So they basically like, let's run it up.
Yeah.
We got the full power to destroy, to kill, to turn the world debaucherous, to pass what legislation we want, to run it how we want it. Let's run it how that's their idolism. You know, that's the true representation that they go by. They don't go by, all right, how would the Lord above want us to run the world? If that was the case, then they would do away with all these different toxic plants. You know, they would have to actually collapse a lot of corporations that they generate mass amount of revenue from. And they're not going to do that because, you know, that's going to actually cripple what their economy is built on. You know, built on. I'd say something with the majority of that cocaine that comes from Colombia. And the Colombian president, you know, was speaking about the crisis, and he said it plain as day. He was like, look, cocaine ain't going nowhere. You know, here. He was like, this is what actually keeps our economy going.
Yeah.
You know, he was basically like, this is our economy. This is our, you know, it's basically their money. That's a form of currency, man.
Yeah, it is.
Cocaine is the currency in Colombia, man. So they're not actually looking to see that, you know, being replaced by anything else because it helps the blood flow within. That's part of the fluid of the system. And it's the same thing. Esau keeps all these things in place because it's the fluid of the system.
Yep.
And they're not going to change it up for righteousness' sake. They're going to keep it going and going and going until it reaches a screeching halt.
Can I read a quick precept for you? Yeah. This is Romans 1:25, and it says, "So change the truth of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai into a lie, and worship and serve the creature more than the Creator."
Yeah, so the white man knows the truth. He knows the truth. That's why he knows how to, you know, put a spell around it. You know, in order for them to beat your nationality out of you, shouldn't they know what nationality you are?
That's right.
You know, and you see how many proverbs and proverbs we've been going by, you know, since we landed here. You got black, Hispanic. When you look up those different definitions, they don't even go back to a people, man.
Or a land.
Or a land. When you have the term Hispanic goes back to
Espanol.
I think, yeah, Espanol, but I think it means land of the rabbits. You know, which I think that goes into actual Spain, because when you look at the shape of Spain, it just means or land of the hares. You know, but that's not an actual people, but they call themselves Hispanic. Or Latin, you know, you have Latin, the tongue.
And then all the Latin people aren't Hispanics.
That's why it's confusing.
Yeah, because I think it goes back to Hispaniola. The only people that are on the Hispaniola island are Dominicans and Haitians. But then Latin people hate Haitians, and they're Hispanics. The humor.
Yeah, they have Haitian, which is hell.
Yeah.
Brazil, I think Brazil goes into
Iron.
The Barzal. Yeah, Barzal. Yeah, you got you know, Argentina. You got another thing. That's the land of silver, something to that degree. Or Venezuela, one of them. You know, but those aren't actual people, man. And you have Native Americans. You're a native of Amerigo Vespucci. You're Aboriginal of a certain man. They wasn't calling themselves Native Americans.
That's where you know Jake get that nigga spirit from Esau. Because how do Jake in the hood do? Like Jake in the hood, oh, this is a dope hole, or this is a trap for this or a trap for that. Esau did the same thing with the tribes. He like, oh, you know, that's the gold land, or that's the steel land, and he just basically put his commerce or his commodity of what he viewed you. He viewed you as a commodity before he even saw you as a person. That's how you know that.
Well, he brought you here.
Yeah,
he brought you here to use you. As such, he didn't bring you here for your independence.
No.
He like, all right, we got some deals. Well, a lot of those Jakes you see, you have in Africa, you got the actual location where all the ships. I think it was that the Eye of Africa. If you look at it, you know, but that was a major shipping station that Esau would pick your ass up and drop you, you know, take you to the Americas, and it was shipping from one place to the next, hauling you up against your will to use you here. But now he's trying to give you independence.
Wow.
That doesn't make any goddamn sense, man. And they still hold the same, you know, they echo the same sentiment as what the founding fathers. The founding fathers, the men that found this place. They ain't saying the founding fathers are the Native Americans. Who are the founding fathers? Who's on what's that mount?
Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore. It ain't no damn Native American face.
Not one.
What Native American or a Judite is on a dollar bill or $5? Give me a coin, something that's in your pocket, man.
Other than that,
Show
gold.
me something up, and it
ain't whatchamacallit, Sacagawea, whatever.
Sacagawea.
Oh man.
Well, she was
she was a Native American,
Uncle Tom.
Uncle Tom, Native American Harriet Tubman.
Yeah, she was a native Harriet Tubman. That's why they was gonna put Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill and put her on the coin. So they was basically
She earned it.
yeah, they was coons for the white man. When you look into them, they actually helped the white man get there.
Right.
That's basically, you know, him saying the water to him, man.
Yeah.
But you keep going on.
This is good. This is Wisdom of Solomon 2
That's
verse 2.
them.
For we are born at all adventure, and we shall be hereafter, as though we had never been. For the breath in our nostrils is as smoke,
YOLO.
and a little spark in the moving of our heart. Verse 3, which being extinguished, our body shall be turned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish as the soft air.
If I may say something, that's how you know. Another reason why Esau is such a dangerous individual is because he's faithless. When you have any faith, it's like, dude, fuck off, whatever, you know what I'm saying, or any type of belief system. It's just a
The most
world to
dangerous
fuck
person
off.
is a person that has nothing to lose. And
Really?
Esau lives his life as
Like,
such.
exactly.
You know?
You got it.
That's why most of them, most of these Edomites, his forefathers, died of debaucherous lifestyles.
Right.
Alexander the Greek died at 33 years old of a debaucherous lifestyle. He didn't die because he got hit by a car or colon cancer or heart disease. No, he died of a debaucherous lifestyle.
Even Vespasian.
Vespasian.
He died of diarrhea.
Who's another one? Christopher Columbus is another one. He died of another debaucherous lifestyle. He was a big faggot, man. Because that's how Esau he pushes it to the limit. He eats. Now they try to push on us this idea of veganism and eating healthy, but really these Edomites lifestyle is eating bad. That's why when you watch timepieces like Rome, what is it? The big charters of food around, and it's throwing chicken bones and turkey legs behind him. That's Esau. Esau is a debaucherous man.
Bacchus.
He's a wild beast.
Yeah, he's a wild Bacchus.
That's why when David spoke, he said, you know, how foolish was I was as a beast before thee. You know, and the Lord likens these different nations as beast systems. When you read about the beast with the 7 heads and the 10 horns, see a lot of, you put that picture in somebody in a church. You know, if we went into a church, some churches tomorrow, and we started reading those scriptures and asked people what does this mean, you know, a lot of people are gonna speak about the devil coming on, riding on top of fucking the Lanius Hydra or something, man.
Yeah.
You know,
It's gonna look like an anime.
Damn sea breeze or something like that. But they're not gonna get it correct though. They ain't gonna say, "Oh, these are governments and America's the head." But speak about in Revelation 17:15, the nations are the waters, are people's nation and tongues.
Yeah.
You know, and who controls those people's nation and tongues? The Edomites, man. Which is the end of the rulership in 2nd or 6th chapter. Well, you keep going.
This is Wisdom of Solomon 2, verse 4. And our names shall be forgotten in time, and no man shall have our works in remembrance.
Yeah, so they say in due time we're gonna be forgotten about anyway. So while we're here, let's just do what we can to fulfill our roles of creation.
And you know what else also Esau does with that too is through his burning of books. Esau likes to hide his history and his dirt. So it's like we're gonna do it, and then they come back later on, and then they just we erase it now. We don't want to know that about us. Esau lives a very, very debaucherous way of living, but then at the same time he wants to hide it. He does it in the shadows of the world. He tried, like Epstein. Epstein did all of that shit just to go in there, but he did it in the secrecy of an island somewhere. They're very dark. These are dark people. This is a description of a very dark spirited person. This isn't a description of a holy person. Holy people don't move like that. You know?
And our life shall pass away as the trace of a cloud, and shall be dispersed as a mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun.
Now, if I may say in Romans the 15th chapter, it says all the things are written aforetime for our learning's sake. Then you go to the Apocrypha and it says, let us praise the great men of old. Because when you do great things in the earth that's renowned, you become a figure in the earth that becomes remembered forever. Your works follow you, as the scripture said. Your works follow you. He don't want his works to follow him. That's the spirit of an evil person. You don't want your works to follow you. Esau is the only person that does all this evil, but he won't put his name on it. That's how we don't know who the real elite is. You tell the people, you ask these people in these cars, who are the elite of the world? They don't know. They can tell you about Jeff Bezos. They can tell you about these lower level Edomites, but the who's who, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Oppenheimers, these different families, they have no knowledge about it. Esau is a shadow worker, man. Right. He plays the shadows like a shit.
He really doesn't want to be recognized like that.
He's a vagabond. Yes.
Well, that's part of his powers, man.
Right.
You know, because he, like I said, he waves the wand, but he plays in the background.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he's that man that, you know, he puts so many people in front of him that you don't know who's the man.
Right.
Like this Jeff Bezos, everybody wants to praise him as this rich guy, like he came up out the mud and all that, man. Esau been setting up these rich people. When you go back to the time of the Great Depression and everything that led up into the Great Depression, J.P. Morgan, man.
Yeah.
J.P. Morgan he came from brokenness and he died broke because the elite set him up in that position for you to think that he was this amazing banker, man.
Yeah, they said that he was one of the richest men.
Right.
And then they said he only had a portion of the Rothschild's riches. You know,
they gave it to him. They set him up.
Yeah, they set him up as you know, as basically the front man. And people, you know, they don't really know, you know, the true rules of actually how much they actually own shit. You know, because the Rothschilds, not only do they own, you know, revenue and things that, you know, own the money that's printed through the banking industry. You know, they be owning fucking animal species classifications, certain wine classifications. Their names is over all
lands.
Yeah, lands and things of that nature. You know, streets, highways, influence. You know, so they're making it where you have to worship them. You know, them directly or indirectly. You know, through what servicing them.
And overcome with the heat thereof. Verse 5, for our time is a very shadow that passeth away, and after our end there is no returning. For it is fast sealed, so that no man cometh again. Verse 6, come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 7.
Yeah, so let's destroy the world.
Consume.
Yeah, consume. Live a debaucherous lifestyle. You know, that term is decadence. Brother, look up the term decadence. You know, you have opulence. But you'll see those Greco-Roman, and that's when you have the Purge. You know, you see the Purge movie. That actually happened in Rome.
Yeah.
That movie wasn't just something that was just made up out of nowhere. They used to happen in ancient Rome, and what they would do, they would basically live it was a day of debauchery, basically like a bacchanalia. Mm-hmm. Bacchanalia.
I think it was the same thing.
Yeah, it probably was. You know, the bacchanalia and the purge. You know, and they would eat to their heart's desire. You know, just like with Mardi Gras, which is Fat Tuesday.
Yeah.
You'll see the rituals, and they're supposed to be making themselves holy. You have Ash Wednesday, Fat Tuesday.
Fat Tuesdays when they do all the debaucheries, and they would wear the mask to cover themselves, and then Ash Wednesday was when I'm gonna give up, I'm gonna give up something.
Lent,
40 days.
Yeah. So they'll do that cutoff, periods. But you got that?
Yep. So decadence, right? In the context that you're using it, is luxurious self-indulgence,
Luxurious self-indulgence. Keep going.
right? But now it says moral or cultural decline is characterized by excessive indulgence in pleasure or luxury.
Because you just get, it's all about the flesh.
Mhm. And
Yes, that's Epicureanism, where your lust overrides your whole system, and you just do what your flesh wants you to do, without any type of moral forethought, or actual, sight of what comes with the actions that you actually do.
it
And that's
says,
the lifestyle that Esau lives. Go ahead.
all right, it says it goes back to the Latin. It goes back to the French decadence.
They go back to the French.
Yeah, in Latin, decadentia, which in English would be to decay.
Oh, because the scriptures say, what is that? 1 Timothy 5:6, that a woman that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth. Because that is like Apostle Tahar was speaking on that recently about when you live a fancy lifestyle. It's a very effeminate thing. It's a very effeminate lifestyle to live that decadent lifestyle. It's all about keeping your nails clean. And it's a posh way of living. That's where these women get it from. They get it from their daddy Esau. He's the man. You shake these white people hands, man. You be offended, man. Like, bro, do you open jars or anything with these hands?
Right. That's why even in the kingdom,
they just be soft. Like these Edomites have super soft hands.
even in the kingdom, right? We're going to have a certain type of lifestyle, right? To where we're going to live in a, luxury, luxurious lifestyle.
Right.
But even with that, we're going to do humble things. We're going to be able to it's not going to be the way it's our pride, and we're going to be puffed up because, like Scripture talks about, we still have to live in boots in the Feast of Tabernacles.
Yeah.
We still got to rough it, so to speak. Because they say, like, when you go out and camp and live in the tent, they call that what? Roughing it.
Because that dainty lifestyle, that's the glory of a woman. You want your woman to, have her hands as soft as butter and oil, and her feet don't touch the ground and shit like that.
They call it being pampered.
Yeah, that's not really.
It said that saying goes that a society starts Stoic and it ends Epicurean, because now everybody is in that mentality of luxury, fashion, just
sexy flexy.
Pleasing the flesh. And see, we're in the perfect time of the chip, because most of these people, they're looking for just innovativeness.
Yes.
Things that's revolutionary. Watch, if they come out with the next iPhone, everybody gonna dump their fucking iPhones in the trash can and try to get the next edition.
If I may,
the next year are cars.
Yep.
How many people dump their old cars?
Oh, the PS4, PS5 coming out.
But what's wrong with the PS4 though? Is there anything wrong? If the PS5 didn't come out in another 20 years, would you still play the PS4? Yes, you would play that PS4. But since the PS5 coming out, you're gonna fucking launch that PS4 out the window, man.
Right.
But see, that's how this world gets you. And Esau, it's always what's trending.
Yep.
And that chip is gonna be the next thing that's trending.
I was reading this article the other day that was dealing about the standard of male beauty, like over the last 100 years or whatever. And it went from like World War I, World War II, the 1920s and 30s. It was war was it. So war was sexy. Like being sailors and broad shoulders and the mustache.
Like uniform men.
That was the standard. Then it developed into like the 50s and like the 60s, 70s, where Arnold Schwarzenegger and bodybuilding came in, and then Baywatch was the 80s, that look, that athletic look. But now you get to the 2000s. Man, 2000 was was metrosexual. That was the look of the 2000s, and in 2010s we just came out of was the hipster look. The Poindexter glasses, like what you're saying, like that's the standard. So like you say, that goes directly into the chip because they're a bunch of gadget hipster geeks. The male's beauty is not being a man; it's about being being a beta weirdo. That's like you said. That's the energy.
Yeah, because say for instance that they come out with a chip now, and then say people gonna take it. Now, if it's not mandatory, what does that mean?
It's a choice.
It's a choice. And some people are gonna choose to take that chip. So now what? They got their feet on the ground. If you got 1,000 people that's taking that chip, that's good work. 1,000 could easily turn to 2. 2 could turn to 10. 10 could turn to mandatory. One company, and more people having to take it. That's if one person, a couple people taking that chip is enough.
All the elite,
That's
all
enough.
It takes is what? A couple celebrities to do it, and that's
And you
when you
get-
get, like you said, you get your 1,000, your 1,000 exclusive chippers, and then shoot, then everybody will be like, well, I got to get that.
Yep.
And what if another crisis comes? Because they say that this coronavirus is going to be so, not even part 2, many more. But
That's not it.
Oh yeah.
Are soon to come. I was seeing something on
That's just a
Fox
springboard.
where they're speaking about these. I forget the term.
Like FICO.
But it's basically feed farms that when you see these pig farms and these chicken farms, them shits is unsanitary, man. They breed diseases and sicknesses.
Oh yeah. I get this.
And a lot of those sicknesses really come from them, and they got to mass produce those at a phenomenal rate to feed the masses of the people. And it basically it's like people going to keep staying sick, and it's going to be keep being outbreaks and all these different things.
Quantity over quality.
Yeah, and basically it's going to always be continual, basically, sicknesses that's going to basically lead to just destruction of people.
Yeah,
Man.
they already told us to not expect shit to go back to normal until 2021. Fall of 2021.
There ain't no new normal.
Yeah,
Man.
there ain't no
When was things normal? Things haven't been normal since we've been in this goddamn place.
Well, new normal is really code for New World Order.
Yeah.
That's the new code word. It's a new normal. A new world, a new order of life.
Certificate of COVID-19. Certificate of
Assuming that was his.
what was it? It was an acronym.
Oh yeah.
Certificate of
I gotta look it up.
but it meant something. It was an I.
Yeah.
Certificate of something. Identification. ID, something.
Yeah.
Certificate of vaccine identification.
There we go.
Okay.
That's
Yes.
it right there.
This is 1 Timothy 6, verse 7. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we carry nothing out.
Yeah, we brought nothing into this world, and it's certain we carry nothing out. So at the end of the day, you're supposed to be trusting in the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai, not these material things that come with this place, man.
Creature.
That's what Scripture says. Worshiping the creature more than the Creator. A lot of people worship the creature more than the Creator because they don't what? They don't see the Creator physically. They go off of what they see, what they hear, the physical senses, what they can touch, what's tangible. What they can have access to get, and that's that rules over the hegemony of the thoughts. Keep going.
Verse 8. And having food and raiment, let us be there with content.
Yeah, be content with what you got. And it's hard for people to be content. Like I said, if the next fucking PS system comes out, Jake is throwing the old one away. And of course, everybody likes updates and things of that nature. But you have certain people that's just predators for
New things.
Mm-hmm.
You wear the shoes for 2 weeks. Now you want another pair of shoes. You want another pair of shoes. You want this. You want that. Always fucking needed. And it becomes, especially if it's inorganic, it's not like something that you built and then it generates all this money for you. You just always chasing after the next high of this world, man.
Because the majority of these people are, as the scriptures say in 2 Ezra, superficial and born in vain, man.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these people, they have no purpose. They have no purpose to be here. So they look for new highs. See, when you content, when you have a form of contention, you have joy and you have peace. And these people have no joy, no peace, therefore they're not content. So they're always looking for something to fill a void. Mm-hmm. A new gaming system, a new game. Like, I know this brother right here. If you got children, you know this. If your child got a tablet, like you be like, can I download a game? Yeah. 5 minutes later, can I download another one? Can I download another one? Can I download another one? If you leave it to their own vice or their own time, they'll download 30 games in 1 hour and then play not one because it's, can I get another one? Can I get another one? And that's how these people are out here. There's no contention.
That's where boredom.
Yes.
You know, somebody that's bored. When you actually look up the term bored, they go into bored, which means a hole. They got really a hole in their spirit, you know, and they're trying to fill a void through entertainment, something that they could just retain in their mind or distract them, you know, which is, you know, basically having fun through just artificial emotion because you're bored.
Yeah.
You know, you have something. You know, these children are like they're boring. That term actually means they have a hole in it. You know, I know this brother's familiar with the show Bleach. You know, they actually had hollows, which were actual spirits that had whole holes within their chests, and they basically were soulless zombies, man. And that's the majority of these people. You know, they're basically soulless.
Can I read this quote for you? This is from this Stoic page I follow. From Viktor Frankl, if I'm saying his name correctly. It says, when a person cannot find a deep sense of meaning, purpose.
That's limbo.
Right? They distract themselves with pleasure.
Yeah, they distract. So that's limbo, though.
That is limbo.
When you see people in limbo, which that's a mythological world, but really this is if limbo was a place, it'd be here in America, man.
Right.
And these people are in limbo. Proverbs 21:16.
They would call it like purgatory.
Yeah, purgatory. Limbo.
You know, you got Dante's Inferno. The
Well,
purgatory was like the mid.
It was the third level on Inception.
Yeah, third look because you didn't know if it was real or fake. So it's just
after
there.
the dream in a dream, they were in
Limbo.
And time didn't exist because when you're bored, it feels like time's not moving.
Right.
When you're doing something, you in motion. Like goddamn, like us, our lives, we don't have boring lives because we got the spirit. Because what? It seems like as soon as we leave here, before you know, it's like, damn, it's Saturday again. Because time for us moves different than the rest of these people. These people, look, if you notice since we've been out here, the same people been walking up and down the block.
Right.
If you notice, it be the same people walking up and down the block, it be the same car. These people just take laps around Peachtree and Spring Street.
Right. No, real talk.
Because they're bored.
Yeah.
We the ones who be like, it's September, and they're like, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, it was just January. What are you talking about?
Right, exactly. Time flies. Our time, our perception of time is very different from these people.
It's cold again.
This is 1 Timothy 6, verse 9. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare.
Yeah, but they will be rich, fall into temptation and a snare. That's why it says the love of money is, you know, which is going to go into the love of money is the root of all evil.
Yep.
You know, because when you get into, you know, gaining, what is that? Such as the joy of a hypocrite, though he gain the world, he shall lose his soul. You know, the more you obtain, you know, the more that you actually
lose yourself.
You know, lose yourself.
Like a Kanye,
lose your connection. Yeah, he's trying to regain himself through basically being a rebel. Because you see, he had his head totally lodged up a so-called white man's ass. Now he's you know, basically trying to buck back. You know,
bro, he just need to commit suicide.
Which he has a level of bipolarism, you can tell, because he falls between extremes. You went to the extreme supporting damn Trump. That's it. You extreme, Jake. You extreme Edomite lover. If you got them, you know, you right behind Trump.
Wearing MAGA
oh, like the other guy, that Jake. What's the fucking guy? He was the black dude. He was he been what's his fucking name?
Is he running for president?
But he was right by Trump.
Oh, he tried to shake his hand. Somebody they was trying to shake his hand and he walked. That was Biden that walked by him, wasn't it?
Nah, I forget it.
So it'd be so many cool chips activated.
I know his name. That fucking Jake. That you know, he been acting like a revolutionary.
Oh, Grandmaster Flash.
Yeah, Grandmaster what?
Flash.
Yeah, Grandmaster Flash. Yeah, like he's an extreme cool, man.
Who the rapper?
Yeah. One minute he was running for president, then he was like,
Grandmaster Jay.
then he was like, we're gonna shoot down crackers.
Mm.
To them, you know, he stands with white people. He's all over the place.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with Kanye, man. You got it.
That's right. This is 1 Timothy 6, verse 9. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare.
Yeah, and it's a snare and a trap. You know, it gets you. And that's, like I said, that's all part of the way that Esau keeps you under hypnosis, man. Keep you under. Man, he got this place lock, stock, and barrel, man. And then he really changed the perception of what you actually view as life. You believe that this is living. Life is getting a nicer car, you know, a bigger house, a house that you can actually purchase, you know, and actually having, you know, a little bit of property, a little bit of land, you know, that's actually true living. That ain't living, man. You know, and Jake can't see past that. Everything else they'll see as they say, mythology.
Yeah.
You know, mythology or superstitious,
Outlandish.
Yeah, outlandish, and they don't see these things occurring in their lifetime because their parents and their parents' parents said it. So they're like, if it happened, you know, they put like 2% stock in it, you know.
Hey, well, you know,
If that, you know, like if they have money, you know, they'll put like, you know, they'll put 10 cents in it, 20 cents. They'll know, all right, God loves the world. They'll know this and that, but they don't really, you know, fully involve themselves. Or they'll pay. Some of them pay tithes. You know, they'll throw some money to their local pastor, things of that nature that their parents used to go to, and that's where they get their spiritual, you know, purification.
right.
And the rest of their lives are just living according to the world standard, man.
Well, I was gonna say, I remember we were talking about this list, and I did a lesson on it earlier, but the rules of classes in poverty is your fate is basically you can't. So when you're poor and impoverished, you have a mindset of expecting the worst and hoping for the best. And that's how, like you said, that's the mindset that's pushed on this world on us. We don't go into anything. We were never taught to go into anything confidently, thinking we're going to succeed.
Yeah.
We go into everything with a mindset of expecting. We are taught to expect the worst and hope for the best. That's not a wealthy mind state. That's not how Esau don't walk through the world of, well, we hope it succeeds,
Right.
but we expect the worst.
He expected to succeed. That's why he's so proud.
That's why he's so proud. We so broke it down that like you said, I just put a little bit over here.
Yeah, Esau had the extra cushion on them. You know, due to the fact that that they have so much money, it's hard for them to just go flat broke. And like I said, we talking about the upper elitists, man. You know, we ain't talking about your middle class. Look, you know, motherfuckers that's a little bit on top of us. They making $15,000 more than us, and we talking shit. You know,
Nigga manager
pissed off at the nigga that makes $2 more an hour than you. Yeah, you talking about this nigga Kevin. You know, Kevin making fucking $22 an hour, man. That's the fucking.
Nigga John, man.
if you hate Edomites,
That's the rich of the most I gonna kill.
you gotta level up your mind.
Man.
If you mad at little boy Edomites like that, man, you gotta raise up your mind state.
Nigga doing work, nigga catching the goddamn martyr home, man, and you over there pissed off at him. Yeah, that's something. Nah, man, it's talking about the.
This is the devil the Bible speaks of.
That phrase,
Nah, man, you gotta get the, like, nigga, put the trajectory a little bit higher, man. Not what's in front of you, man. Look up, man. Look up.
Yeah.
Look at the motherfucker that owns the building, that finance.
Hey, look, you gotta do some
Pays
binoculars.
the tax. Look up. Jake ain't looking nowhere. Jake looking right in front of him, man.
What did Chris Rock say? The Edomite that owns the color, their own colors and shit.
Hell yeah.
That's what we mad at.
That's
we
it.
ain't mad at Edomites that we're making. Bro, a lot of Edomites most Edomites live worse than us, man.
Yeah, most of them.
Most live worse than me.
Lives just finished.
Like I said, I mean, granted, you got Edomites that got money, but nevertheless, like their quality, their life, their look at life, their woman don't respect them, their children hate them. Bro, we live way better than most Edomites.
Yeah, these might be finished, man.
Okay. And into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. Verse 10, for the love of money is the root of all evil.
Yeah, for the love of money is the root of all evil. You know, that's what gets you, you know, rooted into wickedness. Through what? Lust. Because you know, when you have abundance of money, you can do a lot with it. If you don't already have, you know, a laser focus or view on life, on the action that you actually take, especially at a young age, it can corrupt you, man. And you're gonna keep living a life according to what the flesh. And Esau, you know, a lot of these devils were blessed with money. You know, and you see a lot of these jakes too. A lot of these jakes will start to, you know, they'll get blessed, and their you know, family members, you know, will actually, you know, become substantially rich. And you know, Jacob actually be like, you know, them black Edomites, man. But you see, they don't actually take their time and give credence to the Most High, you know, and actually follow the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments, and really build things of that nature. No. You know, it's all about what they could do within what their community. Jacob's community based, man. They don't see past the you know, see past that which is in front of them. No. But see, Esau taught them divine compass. Because really, these Edomites, they'll take all their resources and their finances, or like just think about the 19 black families that that's something that's revolutionary with Jacob. But Esau been doing that.
Right.
Where the hell all these neighborhoods come from? These neighborhoods just popped up out of nowhere.
The creation of the suburbs.
The creation of the suburbs, which is broken down in classes with all them. The suburbs are primarily white people. They already have these different neighborhoods that are named after whites. You know, it's basically white man's money. You know, damn white evil.
And even then, the 19 families they bought. Bro, ain't nobody trying to go to Toomaboro, Georgia, bro.
Right. All the way down
they
there.
bought that land. Ain't nobody trying to go there.
Yeah.
Like again, you came together to do something.
Esau didn't want that, man.
Hey, Esau don't even want that land, man. You would have went down the street and Buckhead and bought like a bunch of property for Jacob.
Right. I mean, they could have did that. They could have did that and bought already established buildings and fixed them up and made, you know what I'm saying? They could have did that.
Jacob got them big wheels, man.
Then they could have fought to make a
That's the life of
municipality.
Jake is having that is Jake's toys, man. Jake don't want to establish. See that even with that family, that shit is short lived.
Jake got it, but you know that's how you know Esau know how to keep Jake in that same entertainment. That ain't nothing but big grown man talking toys, man.
Hot Wheels.
A tricycle.
Yeah,
It's a tricycle.
Yeah.
Fucking Hot
It's a tricycle with a motor.
And you see them old niggas on it.
You put gas in it.
Yeah, Kango shit, man.
And gray whiskers in their faces.
40 of them.
See, Esau know how to get. See, Jake know how to get. Esau know how to give Jake that lollipop, man. Keep Jake, you know, full of that high, the high of this world. Man.
Right.
What is that? That's give destroy the heart. That bread and circus.
Right.
Because Esau, like we were saying, you know, Esau understands social classes of people because he establishes the classes.
That's sociology.
Yeah, he understands it. He studies the people.
through zip code.
And he establishes an order of how he views the people.
Yeah,
Jake ain't about establishing a social class because why? In Jake's mind, we all poor. In Jake's mind, all rich is Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Like really, honestly, think about it.
Yeah,
For our people, that is the ceiling. That's the ceiling. Jay-Z, Oprah, Tyler Perry. That's the ceiling.
And now, you know,
That's a poor ass white person.
they'll throw Obama in there too just because success. I made it.
Right.
You know, they'll throw
And, I
Obama
mean,
in
you know,
there.
in that case, you're gonna say Denzel, Will Smith,
You know what I'm saying? You can
your
do-
so-called A-list or your
In
B-list
Jake's
black celebrities. Yeah, they do well. But the thing is, as a nation, we are poor as shit, man. We're in extreme poverty. You know, and this is really a rich ass society, man.
Yes.
You know, that's what you have. This society breeds billionaires and things like that nature. You see, majority of these things that the so-called white man that got extremely rich off of was from the captivity of you Jakes, man. You Jakes, you know, who built these railroads? Who built these different bridges?
Yep.
Who built these streets? You know,
Who
the
maintained
street
them?
lights, maintaining them.
Right.
You know, these different products that go into these different houses. You know, who actually revolutionized a lot of these you know, technology, like you had a industrial revolution.
Yeah.
Who have revolutionized the industry, these different industries, man? Jay. When you go into black innovators or creators, and you read the list, you'll be
post-slavery,
yeah. Matter of fact, if you pull it up,
the traffic light, all that came post-slavery during the industrial era.
but the scripture says what? That Jacob is the former of all things.
I got a quick precept for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Ezekiel 28:5, and it says, "By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic thou hast increased thy riches, and thy heart is lifted up because of thy riches." Oh, well, yeah, like how you said that. This is where he got his riches from, was by pushing these things. Like you said, we don't have resources. Again, none of these other nations of people uplift their entertainers as the faces of their nation. We're the only people on the planet Earth that we look to LeBron James to do anything outside of shoot a fucking basketball. We really, when shit hits the fan, we're expecting him to have the answer. Or T.I. What's T.I. gonna say? Bro, Esau don't be looking at these. Esau ain't looking at Brad Pitt like, what's your answer for the
That's true.
For whatever event. Chinese people ain't looking at
Jackie Chan
to give the answers.
Yeah.
That's how destroyed we are.
Well, they have because they have the tongue. They're walking through the face. They have the policy. And when you think about all these real political leaders, they're all white people, man.
Yeah.
I seen this picture with all these corporate men, and they took the picture, and it was just flooded with devils.
The Fortune 500 CEOs and shit.
Yeah, the Fortune 500 companies. Ain't nothing. That's the ones that really, do the moving and shaking. Jake is really being something. Me and Jake was talking about these different basketball contracts. A lot of contracts be big as hell, man. Jake get a 7-year deal and get 200 million. You see these MLB contracts. But when you think about it, who the hell is writing them these $200 million checks? In order to give somebody $200 million, you got to be fucking filthy rich. And how much you gonna make off that $200 million that you're giving them? That's the real kicker.
Once they do it over time, which you got to think about how much. $200 million for 7 years, they probably doing like $200
but
billion.
He ain't being broke and just getting $200 million. He's still getting paid.
John Wall, this coming up year, John Wall gonna make $40 million a year.
Right.
He ain't not playing not one game.
So you got to think about, that's NBA, right?
Yeah.
So you got to think about how much the NBA, even with this pandemic going on, how much the NBA plans to make just for giving him $40 million. Now imagine what Steph Curry, who else? LeBron.
All of the NBA, the whole.
Yeah, you got to think about how much they 5 years, 7 years.
How much they'll pay, how much they have to pay out that year, and how much they actually making off of each and every player that they actually get, that they actually have playing. They're making a goddamn killing.
Right. They're making.
And they got the men as subjects under those contracts, but they'll never actually break off and start their own ring. And actually keep the profits.
They can't. They get killed, man.
That's what Kyrie tried to do.
Kyrie tried, but really, even before Kyrie, you had other
Isaiah
players.
Thomas had the NBA.
Isaiah Thomas is a big boy coon because he was the president. He was the president and owner of the CBA, which back in the day, players and men are old enough to remember the Canadian League. He had that, and then he sold it off. He destroyed it. Anytime that Jake tried to create a level of ownership, it never works because this ain't your rest. You'll never be in a position. Look, I don't give a damn how many NBA players. They'll never be in a position to start a whole nother league. That's an amazing boss up move. Like, think about the NBA owners. How many of us know? We only know maybe a handful of NBA owners.
Yeah.
Mark Cuban. If you're really into sports, you might know like the guy that was the owner of the Knicks. Family owned, they got in a lot of trouble. You know certain names, but in all the major sports, do we know the names of all the owners of the MLB, NFL, NHL, all these teams? We don't know, man.
Yeah, and even when you look at these major, corporations, like Disney and these things, man, all the damn devils, man.
Yeah.
Ain't no fucking Chinese man running Disney, man.
Right.
or a damn nigga at the
Some
top. Ain't no
red dot
nigga at the
Indian.
top of Walmart, Target, Sears,
Yeah.
fucking Bed Bath & Beyond, all these different. Think of it. Chevrolet, Ford, anything that has a big face on it.
Starbucks, Dunkin'
Yeah.
Donuts,
Starbucks.
McDonald's.
Hey, we're like
All
a
of them,
CEO. CEO is not an owner. That's just the chief executive officer.
When you think, you know,
He's
Jay,
just a chairman
Jay
on the board.
because of goddamn Virgil, man. Off-White.
He don't even. That's a funny story too because he just owns the name. He doesn't really own the company. He doesn't really own Off-White. He owns the trademark of Off-White. That's all he owns. He doesn't necessarily. He has no say of really the ins and outs of that business. Like you said, even that Jake get happy about that, but even within ownership, he's limited.
I watched the interview with Pusha T. He said you know that McDonald's I'm loving it. It was him and his brother. They came up with that.
That's crazy.
And but he was like they only got a one time $250,000 payout. So then he said, "Well, I'm gonna get." So now he get
Clips.
Yeah, the clips. When they did "I'm Loving It," remember when it very first came out, and they did that little jingle.
Yeah. They made that jingle.
Yeah. And then they did, and then he said, "So now we own 40% of Arby's." But that's 40%. Not that it's not a boss move, but it's like you'll still never get.
You'll never.
You like you can get a piece,
I just
but you'll never get
You never get a controlling piece,
a controlling piece or
voting rights. You don't get that shit.
yeah. I just had kind of whispered over this brother. There'd be no Jordan if there wasn't a Nike.
No.
Yeah.
No. Hell no.
You see?
But see, that's how he gets you. That's how he keeps you attached to that web. Because it's basically granting, it just like a ventriloquist. The only way the dog can move is by the web that the ventriloquist has on him to actually help narrate him and navigate him, man.
Puppet master.
Yeah, and the white man is a puppet master. He's not gonna allow you to build your own web, an independent web within the society.
Squeeze him out.
Somebody's connected, like Black Lives Matter. All these different corporations, they're attached to something. And then you say, okay, that's who really controls it. I see this. There was a white woman that actually did the Black Lives Matter. She went to the site and she basically went into where all the money and contributions go to from donations and things of that nature. And it's mainly fucking white politicians. White, I think it was white Republicans or something like that. And you see the white man basically had his hand all in there, and they use that as a figure. You got that?
This is Job 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
Yeah, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, which the hand represents what? Power, influence, and control. He controls every goddamn thing. The food that you eat, your food supply. That's why it says that we're gonna be nourished from the face of the serpent. For a time and time, and the dividing of a time. To what we watch. Because when you cut on these different Netflix and all these different television shows, they be full of goddamn witchcraft, man.
Yep.
The majority of that stuff you can't even catch. Subliminal messages.
Subconscious.
Yeah, you'll be on. I was talking to my sister about that. All the kids shows we used to watch. You'll see the fucking exposés on the shit they used to put in the TV. Like I ain't never even see that shit when I was a kid, man.
Right.
Nowadays, these kids they go through the same shit. You cut these children. Which we don't watch a lot of that shit, but a lot of it you might see. You got kids, if you have a kid, yeah, you're a kid, you got no fan of that shit. But you see all kind of sexual innuendos. They had some Netflix show that just came out with some little girls, and it was twerking and shit.
The cuties.
I don't know if they shut it down.
That shit blatant.
Hey, you watch it though?
No.
I watch it.
It ain't that bad.
No, that's just. These people don't like the shit to be shown that this is the cause and effect of stuff. Because
They'll talk shit about that and then wipe narco with it.
They'll talk shit about it, but then go watch WAP. That's what I'm saying. Like it just based about the fact that these little girls be watching all this shit and they pick it up. But they try to make it seem like it's some big pedophile. It ain't that serious.
Must be a sports team.
Read it
Okay.
off.
This is Job 9, verse 24. The earth is given
That's
into
what
the
other
hand
people
of the
do,
wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?
Yeah, if not, who is he gonna
Who's doing
surround 10?
Right.
Who else is doing this? Not the Chinese, not the Japanese. You know, when you really think about them, they're just all about, you know, products and things of that nature. You know, actually, Christian, would they actually do a lot of things that fully are intended to be system? So it's still helping push the program.
It's a team.
Yeah, it's a sports team.
Yeah, that's the team coming back. That's the escort, right?
We're here to play football.
Right. So we get an escort.
Yeah.
This shit don't even got the spirit anymore, man.
It's done, man.
This shit's done.
Y'all just going to an empty stadium.
This shit's done. The last time we were here, it was a football game last year. It was flooded. It was floods of people.
Why King destroyed the
Mm-hmm. Oh, damn, yeah.
This is Ecclesiastes or Sirach 10, verse 1. A wise judge will instruct his people. And the
Remember,
government.
it said the city of confusion is broken down. You know?
Okay. This is Ecclesiastes or Sirach 10, verse 1. A wise judge will instruct his people. And the government of a prudent man is well ordered.
Yeah, this is in the government of a prudent man. You know, you see how a wise kingdom ought to have been ran in the times of ancient, with Solomon's kingdom, where riches was basically spread throughout. Everybody had a good portion of riches. You know, that was what, 40 years of peace. America hasn't never been in a state of peace. You know, the blacks have always been. When has there been a time where the blacks in America have been in a state of 40 years of peace? We don't know what the hell peace is. It's constant war, gang activity, you know, drug activity, and when you see these different drug departments, they actually confiscate the drugs and then they put them back in the streets, man. And then especially back in like the time with the mob and things of that nature, a lot of them were actually help push. So that's way off, man. What the hell is going on, man?
What kind of group is that?
Fucking 21 seconds, man.
That was the male version of TLC.
Bro, that was the worst group.
What the fuck is you doing?
Y'all put that shit in your ear and you let it
Look like we weird. Nigga.
I know,
Look at
right?
that y'all, man.
Shit, should turn into a goddamn three-ring circus.
They gonna put down a damn cardboard box and start breakdancing in front of
That's how you know it's just babbling in. It's babbling in and out.
this shit is
It's
fucking
babbling.
wild right
It's
now.
brand
Bro.
a circus.
This shit is a circus, man.
Wow.
I done seen so many ass and titties and
Scooters.
scooters. And
I know
this
it.
shit is article.
Fucking
Guys,
sports
man,
cars.
Man. Like, man, what the fuck, man?
That's how you know it's the world, man.
This in the world.
God damn.
How you need a shot?
It's
You need a
show.
shot when you get home. From this shit, like,
Right.
It's a literal fucking show, man.
Shit.
Coming to campus. Man, it's like coming to the club. Like,
Coming to
God
the-
damn.
Well,
You don't see everything.
You might be Salaki.
Man, I
That's
wouldn't
the
be
style you're
surprised if
talking
a
about.
goddamn a monkey run down the street.
That's the style that the brother was talking about earlier. That weird ass shit.
See, the man right on the scooter with the fucking with a dog. See what I'm saying?
Walking the dog on the scooter.
What the hell is going on, man? Hey, somebody get up with that Isaiah 24 and what it says.
Oh yeah. I got it.
Hey yo,
Yo,
this is the city of confusion, man. Like what the hell is going on here, man?
Hey, all these goddamn bikes and scooters. It's just so much. Yo, this place is weird.
This place is weird,
This place is
bro.
a weird place.
Like, where the fuck are we?
This shit is the Twilight Zone, man.
Yeah.
This shit is literally
Yeah,
the fucking Twilight Zone. But nobody else sees this shit.
Like,
We gotta get out of here, man. This is literally, it's like we don't took that get out pill, like we actually see things clearly.
right.
And you see how fucking hypnotized the whole world is.
You know, Apostle Rumlob said that in a video about a year or so ago. He was like, man, really, all of us should be on medication or in a cuckoo house, man. Because it's like, how do you not go crazy being in a crazy world. What Two Chainz said that. He said, "I'm not crazy. The world I live in is crazy." Got that circus.
Yeah. Hold on one second.
Wrap up in 5.
Okay. Yeah, man. It's getting crazy. Hold on, let me go.
Got that?
1 second. I have
It's almost that Halloween time.
All right, I got it right here. All right, this is Psalms 82 and 5. They know not, neither would they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course.
Yeah, everything is out of whack, man. Everything is where it's not supposed to be. You know, you see environmental changes, man. It's we ain't even supposed to be mixing. First off, all these nations ain't supposed to be mixed together. You know, and all these fucking little toys and things of that nature. Now, of course, things modernized. Like, hey, the Most High knew things were gonna modernize. He knew the thoughts of men that they were evil. The Lord knew that Jake, you know, was gonna be in the type of system that they're in now.
Right.
You know,
Happened before. Nothing new under the sun.
ain't nothing new under the sun.
Tower of Babel.
Yeah. Before the flood, when everybody was sons of men and sons of God were mixing. Yeah.
This is a natural progression of people. Unfortunately.
And, and that's why Scripture says that you know, at the end, people gonna burn by fire. Because the Lord already knew, you know, Jake was gonna go off and they was gonna get more hit. Because if Jake was bugged out by idols back then, fucking Stone Age car. Now look at it, what you got. You got a fucking device that could fucking do anything that you would actually put your mind to.
Yeah, Jake was falling off because of fucking African mask and shit.
Yeah, bowing down to fucking Dagon. You over there giving food offerings to a damn statue.
A fish statue, man.
You done left Egypt, and you trying to get a golden cow belt to celebrate with. Now what Jake got? Jake got these fucking booty clubs, you know? So that's why Scripture's already sealed a number, 2/3. They ain't gonna, the Lord, 2/3 ain't gonna be saved, man. The Lord already allotted them to be put to death.
They really don't even exist if you in the spirit.
Yeah,
They
technically
really
they really don't. Yeah, they. Well, they're like you know, you play a game and you just got the characters in the game.
Extra.
But, you know,
You
they
can't
spawn.
put extra as the main.
You know what I'm saying? They just spawn whenever you get close to where you going. You just end up. Where the hell that person come from?
You don't put an extra as the main. You can't change the script like hey director, you know I know he's extra. I know he's a zombie, but you think he could last a little bit longer than no.
I'll write both y'all out.
Yeah, write your ass out, man. A little bit more than gonna close.
This is two videos.
All right. That was really it, but I read it again. Psalms 82 and 5. It says, they know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course.
Yeah, and that's why through the Spirit, it's for us to first teach this word to put things back in course. Yeah, teach that right, that which is sown to be wrong, and everything that we know is lies, deception, trickery, sorcery. You know, and we've been put in this system, and now it's time to unwind. You know, basically that which was winding our head, man. That's why I speak about being reborn through the renewing of your mind. Yeah. You know, so we're going to end by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Chadash.
the Boston Others, Great Millstone.